Hello. For those that don't know, that is a clip from one of the upcoming songs from the Violent OMs. That audio clip was recorded on 14.313 megahertz. And if you're familiar with that frequency, then you know who might have been the one that was transmitting those words. So, yeah, the 14. By the way, if you're ever on 14.313 megahertz and you can hear the west side of Canada, there's a very interesting character who lives up on that side of the world. So, it looks like we are live. Very good. There's some people out there. I think a lot of people watching on Twitch. Let's see if we're good on the YouTubes. Nope, we're not good on the YouTubes yet. We will be. All right. Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the After Chat. You guys are just joining us. Sorry about that, but Twitch is already in the house. We're going to dive right in to the After Chat chat room. Hopefully we got a good group of people curious about some ham radio questions. So come along with us, won't you?
With the Hermes is that they're not very available. So they come up on maker fabs about every 6 months, I think is what's happening. But if you can snag one, man, they're an amazing radio.
How's it going?
Good, thanks. When Josh was trying the 106, it just sounded like he had way too much microphone gain. He was just pushing it really hard. He got a massive distortion. So I don't think it was a fair test. I don't know if he tried turning down the mic gain.
Tom, there isn't any adjustment on the microphone, and it sounds like the microphone itself is behind a piece of plastic.
Hi, Josh.
Yeah, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the After Chat. Yeah, so let me give you a heads up on the G106. Yeah, there's very little user controls on things like mic gain. They did post a patch just like a couple of days ago that included mic gain, but it broke some other things. So I was hesitant to the upgrade on that, but that would give you a bit of mic gain control. However, if you watched Mike K8MRD's video on the topic, he was saying that he didn't get a lot for doing the patch. In fact, even the mic gain control was not that effective. So yes, I agree with you. It's probably too high of gain, but that's kind of what happens when you say, here's a radio, plug it in and get to work, and you provide no capability on modifying anything for the user. It just becomes a, click and talk.
While I've got your attention, g'day everybody. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a
good
cold.
Day. Yep.
Yeah, g'day. Yeah. The G90, my G90 from the word go had an intermittent fault where it wouldn't transmit sometimes. And if you cycled the PTT, we'll give it a whack, it'd come good. So I was just wondering if you heard anything similar. I mean, I'm putting it down to a Mr. Dickey relay, the PTT, the TXRX relay, or perhaps a dry joint or the power supply, internal switch mode power supply doesn't want to fire up or something like that. So I'm just wondering if anybody else has had similar sort of issues with the G90.
I haven't. Have you tried the groups.io website for the G90?
No, I haven't, Josh.
Yeah, you might. Not that there's not a lot of people in this chat who have it. There's a ton of people that have the G90. G90 is a very popular radio. But often I find that if I'm chasing a specific problem, I go in the G90 groups.io page for it and look for something like, intermittent transmit, that kind of thing. And it's likely possible that somebody has already had that problem, and you can just leverage what they've done.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks for the heads up on the groups.io there, Josh. Thanks for that.
Yeah, right on. All right. I am unmuting Mr. James. You've been unmuted. Thank you for mentioning it. I don't know why you got muted, but you should be good now. So here's how it works on the Discord after chat. Our goal here, at least in the front half of the show, is we like to answer and help people starting out in ham radio. That's our goal. We want to get people started in the most effective and efficient way possible. We are teamed up with a ton of really smart people on the Discord here that can likely help out most of your problems, and so that's what we want to do. So we open it up to people that are here for the first time. If you'd like to say hi and just say I'm here for the first time, or if you have a question, now is the time to answer it. Just do as we do on repeaters. Just give your name or give a little shout, and I'll throw to you, and then you can start things off. So who's here for the first time that would like to say hi or ask a question? That's it. We solved all of the ham radio questions. And if you are new here, it's possible that you've joined us on the Discord and you're like, why can't I transmit? So that could be that you are on server timeout. We've had issues with bot storms and bot floods and all that fun stuff. So we have some limitations set up on people that when they first join, they have to wait like 3 or 5 minutes before they're able to PTT. In the meantime, when you join us for the first time, if you go to settings down at the lower left-hand corner, if you're on the phone, look for the little gear, go to your audio and audio video, and make sure you set a PTT button. So this is very much like a ham radio repeater where you PTT to talk. Same kind of concept.
Yeah, Josh, can I add something?
Yeah, why don't you go for it while we wait for some people to join us?
Okay, sure. If you're gonna like type into the chat, don't use the one that's right next to the after chat like microphone or speaker thing. Go to the one above it that says live stream, pound live stream, and chat there. Because we're not watching the other one. And again, if I'm wrong about that, because I think that was happening last week, and I already see it happening this week. We're splitting the chat, and that makes it hard.
Where are
to follow.
Where are they at? Where are they at?
Like if you click on the microphone thing and there's a little like chat icon, you can click on that and there's an actually chat that's associated directly with this channel. They just added that to Discord, I think.
Oh, what the heck? Yeah, don't do that. Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have Zach turn that off. I don't think it was supposed to be on in this chat.
No, yeah, we want to get rid of that. Oh.
No, the last message was last week anyway.
Yeah, it was last week. Okay, nobody do that. Don't go to hashtag livestream. You want to, that's sweet. Yeah. All right, good. Anyway. So we got people back up on the YouTube, so thanks everybody for watching on the YouTube side. So I'll make sure I'm paying attention to that side as well. Thank you for joining us over there. I'm going to close out of my SDR here since I don't need that anymore. Let's see. Let's get the chat room up somewhere. Hey, question. Somebody has a question over on the YouTubes, and it is, if I use a LiFePO4 battery that is rated for like 12 amp draw, and I put a 30 or 40 amp draw on it, what happens? Just slays the battery and shortens the lifespan? No, you actually can't put out full power. You'll be reduced power output, and it'll probably do like if you have a meter set up to it. So you would want to lower the power of the draw via the transmit power of the radio. To something that
what was that noise again, Josh?
What? Oh, hold on. Let me finish the answer. Want to set the power output to the radio correctly for the draw that is available on the battery side. So, yeah, the with the needle bouncing. That's what you would experience.
That's a very nice noise you make.
Yeah, there you go.
Joe Brett captured that.
Okay. Alan Beckman asks, how do you recommend getting worked all states? I'm having trouble with a few remaining states. FT8! FT8 is the answer. And Pat Walsh says, I would like to ask a question, but I don't have a mic. Yeah, it's fine. You can use text. If you join us over on Discord, it's probably easier to join us on the text chat, but if it's on YouTube, that's fine too. So anybody on the Discord voice chat that is new here and would like to ask a question or just say hi, come now.
Hey, this is Matt. Can I say something?
I got a Matt, and I saw a bunch of other people, so we'll go up the list. Go ahead, Matt.
I'm new here for the first time. Nice to be here. One thing I was going to mention for the worked all states is like the OMIS net or the NATA net.
Mhm.
Those are a great place to be able to join, and you can get your worked all states within a couple months pretty easy because you can see everybody that's on the net.
That is a really cool recommendation for doing it the traditional is the wrong word. Digital mode's been around for a long time now, but the single sideband way, right? And thank you, Triple W Adventures, for subscribing on the Twitch side. Appreciate it. Did you have a question, by the way, Matt?
No, just wanted to say hi and answer that one question with what I had done for mine. So that's it.
Well, thank you. All right, there was a Batman nerd, and then somebody above him. Who was the next one that wanted to say hi or ask a question?
The name here is Andrew.
That's it. Okay, I see you. Go for it.
I just wanted to say hi. I started listening to your podcast a while ago, and I'm just getting back into the hobby. So I watched the live stream tonight, and I figured I'd join the Discord after chat and just say hi to everyone. I'm currently studying for my general, so hopefully I'll have that soon.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on just getting involved and engaged and thinking about upgrading. So thanks for that. And thanks for listening to the podcast. Appreciate that. We don't get a lot of after chat people that are just podcast listeners. Like usually people watch the videos and the YouTubes and all that. So right on. All right. Who else? Anybody else in there that would like to say hi or ask a question? First timers generally. Anybody? We just want to make sure we get the first timers answered with their questions as efficiently as possible. People that are stuck. Oh no, sorry Prescott. That was I should not have cut my beard. He said he got 90% of his beard cut off today. Now I look like Josh. Yeah, I had a much longer beard, and I should not have cut it. I definitely should not have cut it. But yeah. All right. Anybody else in there? First timers that'd like to say hi or ask a question? Come now.
You just realized.
What? Somebody in there?
Josh N2 MPM, an old timer.
I think Andrew, you still got your mic held down. Why don't you go ahead and let go of the PTT? Or
What now?
you got to mute, bud. Thanks. All right, sorry. Who had a question? They said they were a long timer. Go ahead.
Old timer. N2 MPM.
How's it going, man?
It's going good. I have a 500 watt amplifier, and I'm considering either the G90 or the 106. I see they have a amplifier functionality. Have you tried either of them on a bigger amp, and how do they work?
Yeah. So the G90, the XP 125 Alpha or Bravo? Bravo. Right? XP. Yeah. XPA 125 is an amplifier that's for the Xiegu line of radios. And I've gone so far to plug my KX2 into it and my 705. So it's a pretty handy little suitcase, tiny attaché case amplifier that you can carry along with you. I've used that without any problem.
Yeah. This wouldn't be carry along. This is a 500 watt amp that would be a pain to carry around. So
no, but you're talking about a step up. You need a step up transmitter to excite the 500 watts, is what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I'm looking at the 106 or the 90 as an exciter, basically, for that.
Yeah, but it's not going to put out enough power to get you 500 watts, right? So you're going to need a step up amp.
Or you live with maybe
150.
Like 150 to 200 watts. I've done that before on the 705. I've hooked the 705 to the Mercury 3, and I get about 300 watts out of it.
Yep.
And that was with 5 watts. I was running on the internal battery. So
that's part of the reason why the Elecraft amps are so expensive, is that it's actually like 2 amps built in one, right? When you take a KX2 and you plug it into a XPA 5000 or XP, whatever it is, I don't remember what they are, but basically what it's doing is it has a amplification section that steps it up to be able to drive the 1,000-watt amplifier that's inside of it.
Yeah, I have the KPA 100.
That's it, KPA.
In the 100 manual, it talks about using the KX3 to the KPA 100 to the KPA 500 or 1500, which I thought was really weird, but apparently that's exactly how they're built.
Yeah, they'll step each other up, so it's a nice smooth transition to amplification.
So to interject there, that's not always the case. Like I have a Juma PA1000, which is made outside of the U.S., so it's not susceptible to the FCC rules. And I think maybe the Hard Rock 500 comes as a kit, so it also can be driven as QRP.
Is that you can go from straight QRP to how many watts?
I go from 10 watts to about 1,200.
Hell yeah, bud. That's a I love that. I love that. But so that's rare though, Alec. That's not like the most common.
Any of the amps made in Europe will do that.
Oh, correct. So there's an FCC 15 dB amplification limit that's in the regulations for any amp that's fully manufactured in the US. So outside of the US, you can buy amplifiers that are manufactured in Europe, for instance, and they don't have to conform to that. And that's in the FCC regs. That's also true for kit amplifiers. So something like the Hard Rock that's sold as a kit, they can also amplify from QRP up to 500, I believe.
I don't know, because the Mercury's now FCC approved, so
that's why.
And so I don't think I think he particularly didn't want to do that.
Right, he was going for the FCC clearance, so he didn't do that.
Yeah, I got 300 watts out of the 705. So, I mean, was it worth doing it? Yes, but I mean,
right. Well, let me take a quick shout out to the Discord, guys. Just so you know, basically how this works is the Discord's running there, and they have a big chat room for the hashtag live stream. And yes, hang out on YouTube as long as you want, but if you're on the Discord, that's where you see the little images that we post throughout the chat, because that inevitably comes up. We're going to start mentioning radios and whatnot, and we're going to want to post pictures of it, and that allows us to, pull up what different antennas look like and whatnot. But I do my best to give you the info as we go along, so keep that in mind. All right, let's take a last call for a couple minutes on anybody here for the first time that would like to ask a question, or just say hi. Come now. Oh, no new timers. All right. Well, then why don't we do, anybody have a comment on the G106 or G90 video that we did today?
10 2 again.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, it was very, very helpful, since I'm literally considering both of those right now. It's like, oh, well, I didn't mention it to anybody, but Josh is already doing a video about it, so definitely tune it in. So that was a good deal to see that, and the polls were kind of cool, so that kind of fit what I was thinking anyway. So kudos on that.
We got a double there. Go ahead, double. Somebody has a hot mic.
You know how you say you reckon you're in love with the 7300? My experience of the 7300 is that the noise floor is a bit high.
Yeah.
It only really shows up to me when I try and use a magnetic loop or a loop antenna without a preamp. So I'm just wondering what do you think about that idea? Comparing it to the G90 noise floor.
I think you're 100% accurate. The 7300 generally has a hotter noise floor. I think that's true. I don't really love the I guess I do love the 7300. But I think I love the 705 more, if that's possible. I do really like that radio. A preamp on a loop antenna. You talking mag loop or like receive loop?
Receive loop.
So I guess I have the Chameleon. I've got the Chameleon original preamp that was in the body of the loop, and I have their new model. I actually have to build the new model to put it in a new box and put it up on the roof. I've got a rotor for it. I'm really excited about that. But that you almost always have to have a preamp in a receive loop antenna, from my experience. I think
I've got
that.
a
Go ahead.
735. I've got an IC 735, and that's got a preamp built into it, and I can get away without using external preamp on that radio. Whereas if I try it on the, I borrowed a 7300, and I had the noise floor problem. It had the gain, but the trouble is the noise came up with it, so didn't get the advantage.
So my feeling always with receive antennas and preamps is that you should get the preamp as close to the feed point of the antenna as possible. And yes, you can put the feed point down at the ground with the radio, but I'm using, it's basically power over coax. I'm feeding power up the coax to the body of the receive loop, and in the body is where the preamp receiver is, and that seems to do a lot better for it. And particularly the one I got seems to work a lot better with the second preamp I picked up. But always the case is to remember that signal to noise ratio is what matters. It doesn't matter necessarily if the 7300's noise floor is a little bit higher if the signal to noise ratio is the same or better with the 7300. We generally need to be looking at the differences between the noise floor and the peak of the audio of the station that you're comparing to. And that was kind of what I was trying to do on today's video, but we didn't dive too deep into signal to noise ratio. That may be a future video.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, who was it? Andy Calley. I don't know if he's watching on YouTube, but that's always his thing is, it doesn't matter so much about the noise floor. Some of the ICOM radios come in a little hot. They look strong. I mean, that may be why we get that OVF light. Don't know. Can't comment on that. But signal to noise ratio is what matters. If you have a good signal to noise ratio, you can step on your noise floor some using an attenuator or using the RF gain, and you're still totally fine because you're already kind of a little hot to begin with. Now, with SDRs, I don't know if I can I show this? Let me see if I can. Oh, it's not going to. Let me see if I can get it to show up. Hold on one second. It might be down here. Nope, it's not there either. I'll try and work on it, but I have a shot on my 7610, and I was going to show you the menu settings for actually adjusting. So there's two kinds of gain, right? There's RF gain, which is your receiver input, and then with an SDR like the 7300, there is also the gain that you see on the window, on the waterfall. There's no reason that you can't drop that gain down, right? That's okay. You can drop that gain down on the waterfall and lower it to something that's a little bit more pleasing to the eye, because again, signal to noise ratio is what we're looking for. So right on. And thank you. Somebody says I love your beard. I don't know if that's for me, but I'll take it. And I saw Ham Radio 2.0 is on the YouTube side, so thanks for watching, bud. You can always join us, on the Discord. Is he there? Nah, he's not there yet. Anyway. So I think we're a little light on YouTubers. Unfortunately, Mike had to bail, so he left after the live stream. He wasn't able to hang out, and I don't think we got Scott today, Ham Radio for Non-Techies. So do we have any other YouTubers in the house? If they're there, speak up, and we'll give them a moment to give a shout-out. I don't think we have anybody, though. Let's do that. So, okay, let's, oh, I was hoping to get this to work. It's not working. Oh, well. Oh, well.
No.
I was trying to get the screen to pop up. I was trying to get the 7610 screen to pop up so I could do it, but I was so focused on today's live stream, I didn't focus on the other stuff. So go ahead, Don.
Oh, I was just going to say, to answer Alan's questions, I do not consider myself a YouTuber.
Yeah, but you, by the way, I liked your video that you posted showing off your antenna system and going through the recent storm you had. So appreciate you doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should. Hey, you remember that KP990 that you had? That weird Chinese?
The one that plays Nintendo games.
Yeah, the last video I did, I'm using the KN990 amplifier on the Hermes light.
Oh, really? How's that going?
It works. I'm surprised.
Really?
It works, and it's clean. Yeah. So I've been doing FT8 with it. And the nice thing about that amp, that's a 100-watt amp. And like we were talking about drive a minute ago, the Hermes doesn't have enough drive to run that thing at, full power. So 50 watts is better than like 30 watts, which I'm getting on the other amplifier. So I've just been playing around with it. I have the video I put out actually shows me using it. And I showed a little bit about how it's hooked up. And by the way, it's a crappy video, but anyway, when I did it, I was actually able to get a station in Alaska using the Hermes and the KP990.
Oh, cool.
Or, sorry, KN990. Sorry.
Okay, right on. So
well, it is the It is the KP. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'm having a lot of fun with the Hermes, and I've always wanted to see it documented, and so that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm not really. I don't have enough time to do what you guys do. So.
You could, Don.
So with the Hermes,
Mike
like
Smith,
an LNA?
Greatford, thank you so much for subscribing on Twitch. Go ahead. Who was saying question on Hermes?
Yeah. Do you need an LNA and a filter before the amp with that, or is it clean enough?
No, the Hermes kit, and if you look, by the way, watch my first video in the series, and I go over the parts that you need to buy, and the Hermes is you get the board, you get the filter board, and you get the case, and that's the way I buy it. So it does have a filter board behind the transmitter already. That's for the 5 watts. So yes, it's clean. And by the way, I mean, I've gone over this again in the video, but these are basically, to me, this is actually probably one of the cleanest and most, like, I could compare this radio to a Flex radio, an Onan radio, or a Sun SDR radio costing thousands of dollars more. It's that good of transmitter and receiver because yes, because basically the software inside the computer does most of the work, and the software that I'm running is the same software that they run on the Onans.
Yeah, it's HP SDR, right?
I'm running the Thetis version, which is the one that Onan is specifically using. So yes, but it's HP SDR Thetis. And yeah, the filtering on that thing, I cannot believe what that'll do. I mean,
I should have bought one when I had the chance. I had the chance to buy one like years ago, and I was like, I should have bought one.
You can't buy anything with that chip now.
Yeah,
it's so hard.
It's impossible to get them.
I got one last month.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Jason has mine right now. Like, I've been waiting for him to review it.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying anything. I mean, when he gets a chance, he'll do it. And by the way, when he gets that done and gets it back to me, I'll send it to you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Can I do a real quick thing? I want to say, No Code General, thank you so much. He says, I want to cover the next 99 oversized postcards. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. No Code General sent me a QSL card. It was for the podcast. We talked about it. And it was an extra long podcast. And the post office made me go in there and pay 16 cents to get the card out of post office jail. So thank you. I appreciate that, No Code General. Sorry, Don, go ahead.
No, that's it. I mean, if anybody's got questions about the Hermes, I mean, you can hit me up on Discord, or Heath uses his actually more than I do. So you can also hit him up on Discord as well.
Very good. Okay. Well, shoot. We got no new people that have questions, and we got no people that are YouTubers. So does anybody have any comments on the show today? Unless you're new here.
A YouTuber.
Yeah, Poda by example. Go for it, man. Yeah, sorry about that.
No, I mean, I'm more active on TikTok anyways. But yeah, no, I'm just.
You know what it is? It's that you got Tuco as your thumbnail. If you click on your name, and then it's like a radio screen. I can't see your logo.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Yes, I do get on your TikTok. That. I do watch you on TikTok.
Yeah, but no, I don't have too much going on. I just went and played some Poda. Got my repeat offender for a park in DC today. So that was kind of cool. My son was there with me. Yeah, I don't have too much going on. I like this stream though because I'm a big fan of the G90, and I was interested in the 106. I'm thinking of just picking up a 106 purely for digital.
It's actually
it's just so
easier.
compact.
It's easier to use. Now, by the way, it gets hot. It gets hot, but they're not advocating
That's the
some kind
Xiegu
of,
way.
yeah, but they're not advocating some kind of tray like the G90 has. So I'm wondering if it's like, if it doesn't really matter to them, like if they don't really care that it gets that hot. I like my last live stream that I did in Big Bear, I was just smashing the G106 with JS8. And by the way, again, no power control on any of this. You control it literally by sliding the ALC down. That's the only way to really bring the power down. And it works great. It works fine. You just crush it with power, and then that's it.
I was seeing a lot of people in the chat commenting on the price of the G90. I'm seeing a lot of 800s. Where are people getting 800 from?
I have no idea.
Because if I look on AliExpress, it's like $400. Like,
yeah, if you go, if you take
right now, even
if you take the link in the description, if you're on YouTube to Radio Oddity, and yes, it's an affiliate link, so just heads up on that. But if you take the link and you buy it with the audio interface and the little tray for the fan, it's $480, $488, something around there.
Yeah, and I think the 800 came from New Zealand. It was New Zealand.
Kiwi dollars.
Kiwi dollars. That's right.
Yeah.
So the G90 does go on sale for Black Friday. I got it for $350 last year. So
it might even be worth waiting a month for that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a smoking deal.
If you get the XPA 125B amp on Black Friday sale with it, like it would be definitely worth it.
Yeah, I'm hot and cold with that amp. I've had problems with it in that even if you give it like a super resonant antenna, it'll complain of high SWR. It's kind of a pain.
Yeah, I found I just had to put it on manual and just manually tune it, and it works fine. But that is annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just put up a keyer and tune it, and it'll be fine usually.
Yeah, so here's the amplifier that we're talking about. Above my head. Also available on Radio Oddity's website. So again, affiliate code. But anyway, it's $619. That's $119 more than I paid for it. I bought it for $500 at HRO, and I largely bought it because somebody said, "Hey, if you can get this thing to run on the 705, I'll buy one." And I'm like, I don't know why am I taking this bet? But I ended up buying one just to see if it was possible. And yeah, you can. You can use it to transmit higher power on the 705.
RNL has had those amps for $400 or $539.
That's
just
a good deal.
Recently.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal. So Matt actually had a question here that I don't know if you know, Josh. As far as Apple goes for apps for doing satellites, I only really know the Android side.
Yeah, Go Sat Watch. And SatSat. SatSat is the other one, and Go Sat Watch are the two that I recommend for satellites on the iPhone.
And Josh, I dropped a picture in chat about me doing or showing the True SDX run.
Sweet sassy Mo Lassie, Don. Look at that wire nest you got.
Spaghetti.
Going.
Yeah, it is. And
Spaghetti.
But I'll tell you what that wire is that connects into the TRSDX. It's the cable that I made to work with a CE19. Believe it or not. So I got double use out of it.
So it's a Y cable. You got a Y cable.
Well, you have to do that thing with the PTT going into the mic input, and so it's the same on the G90 or the CE19.
The split cable. You got to have a mic line and a speaker line.
Yeah, but you have to modify the speaker or the mic line.
Sure. To give you the PTT click. Yeah.
Right.
But where's the cat coming from? Because I'm not seeing it there.
USB-C.
Oh, of course. Of course. All right.
It's 2022.
Yeah.
I'm going to pause it right now because I'm going to do something. Okay. He's just walking around. There's nothing. He ain't said a word yet.
What?
Okay. It was like, you see all this stuff that says later.
Hey.
On.
Hey.
Earlier.
Hey. Your mic's hot.
Oh, sorry, bud. How do you turn this thing off?
We were going to actually do
that thing off. Down in the bottom left-hand corner is a mute button or a microphone. Click that thing, bud.
All right. Well, while I got it on, I want to comment about the SWRs on the G90 and the the 125.
Right
It
now?
says
Go for it.
Yeah, they got I found a manual online that says if you plug in a key and use that to do the SWRs,
yeah,
then and I did it, and I haven't any problems with my SWRs now.
Nah, I know that's not true because I was working CW with that thing like all weekend. So
really?
I heard a couple of things. I heard a couple of things you can do to make the SWR meter work appropriately. I stopped looking at the SWR meter. I just stopped caring. I was Dr. Strangelove with the SWR meter.
1.25, no matter what band I'm on.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry about the.
Turn my mic off now.
Don't worry about the. No, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about the SWR meter.
All right.
Yeah, a lot of people forget to turn off the internal tuner on a G90 when they're tuning up the amplifier, and it gets its knickers in a knot if you do that.
No, actually, it's supposed to control the amp.
No, the internal tuner in the G90. If you turn the internal G90 tuner on, you're trying to tune the the front end of the amplifier.
No, that's not what. So when you plug them all together and you power them all up, the G90's screen, the interface, when you click the tune button, it should be directly controlling the amp tuner, not the internal tuner.
It doesn't.
Well, that's trash. Okay.
It's never meant to do that. It was never written in the instructions that it did that. You turn the tuner off on the G90 and use the buttons on the front panel of the amplifier to tune.
I'll have to try that. Confirm. I've had no issues with the G90 using.
No,
but also I never use a tuner.
Rob had one, and we found it to be a little flaky. The amplifier, it sort of seemed to get its knickers in a knot for unknown reasons. But when you plugged it in the 5105, for some reason it worked much better on that.
Interesting. I've got one of those too. I should try that.
Well, I don't know. I couldn't nail down, but that's one thing I thought of, that if you add the internal tuner on the G90 on, you're trying to tune because it don't know which tuner you're trying to use.
I feel like it should be smart enough to know the difference. Don't you think?
I think it should be, but whether it actually is, I'm not sure.
It's also a Xiegu.
Fair point. It's also Xiegu. That's right. All right.
Who makes that 50-watt amplifier kit? I've been trying to find it, and I can't remember.
PCB kits? Hard Rock. Hard Rock's the other
one. Hard Rock, yeah, that's the one, yeah.
There's like PCB kits makes an amp too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, they do. No,
yeah.
I do. Yeah.
PCB kits was YouTuber Hamfest like 3 years ago. I interviewed them. And I should have bought their kit. Again, so many kits pre-COVID. I'm like, why did I buy all these kits? Because they're like unobtainium now. You can't get them. And everything's changed. It's insane. It is. Our world has gone like topsy-turvy in amateur radio, or radio in general. It's crazy.
So which was better, the G90 or the 106?
I think that the G106 keeps up with the G90 on CW and digital, but if you're planning to use it for single sideband, the G90 is a better radio. Of course, you still get more power too, and a tuner, so the G90 is generally better. It has more features, but I was actually a little surprised by the output speaker audio, the output audio on the G106. Versus the G90, I think that it gets louder, which is kind of the Beats by Dre argument for speakers and headphones and whatnot. Not necessarily higher quality, it's just louder. The G90 sounds better, but it needs to get way louder. It's not strong enough. And that was with the preamp, and that was doing all kinds of other stuff too. So.
Yeah, so I think was it the G90 you can push the display to another display or something like that. I believe you can do that.
You can, but you don't want to. That's the G-Sock. It was this big tablet-y looking thing. Horrible. It was a total vape. Well, I mean, it wasn't vaporware. We actually got it, but it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, I still have mine.
I do too. I'm waiting to do a like a couple years later, going back and trying to run it.
Yeah. By the way, I know why that thing costs as much as it did, but not that that's an excuse because it's horrible firmware.
Just got a computing body inside of it.
Yeah. Well, it's not that. If you look at, and this has been true for years, the Onan radios actually have like a little thing that looks like it looks kind of like the G-Sock, but it's way better. And you have to put a Raspberry Pi in it, but
right?
Yet, because of the knobs and the buttons and the other stuff that's in it, it runs over $600. So I think that just like the parts that are inside that thing, the knobs, the switches, the buttons, and then of course they stuck that rather inexpensive board in there for the Linux that's in it, but it's all of the things around it that are costing all the money.
Kind of would be nice if they had it to where you could use your own tablet and just wirelessly connect to the radio to at least control it. You know?
Yeah, the G90 doesn't have wireless in it. Now the
kind of like
the
6100.
6100 does, but it doesn't work. So
kind of like the Flex Radio app for iOS or whatever.
What do you mean?
Don't they have their own little app that's like?
Yeah,
it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
It's sold by. It's actually not sold by Flex Radio.
It's the developer.
Yeah, a developer in
the guy who made SDR Sharp basically was not on contract from Flex, and so when he got done doing what he's done with SDR Sharp, he came over and said, "I'll make basically the same software. It'll run on iPads and Mac OS, and it'll do ICOM radios that have built-in web capability, like the 705, the 9700, and the 7610." And so here is my tiny iPad, and I literally can run SDR control on this, and I get full control of my 7610 with the onboard microphone, and I can sit wherever I want in the house or use VPN to tunnel in, and I can access my 7610 with it. It's pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that SDR control is awesome. Works for the 705 as well.
Yeah, but again, all of that software, including the stuff for the Flex, because I've got both, it pales in comparison to what Sun's doing with their software. And their software runs on Mac, Linux, or Mac, Windows, and Linux. And it all looks the same. It is beautiful software.
That's what the Alabama guy needs to do.
Thanks for the correction. It's Smart SDR, not SDR Sharp. Sorry for Flex. I apologize.
Right.
Yeah. So the reason I was asking about the display stuff is some of these portable QRP type radios, displays are pretty small. And so if you can have a way to control the radio with a bigger display without having to juggle around the radio from glare or mess around with the brightness display.
The
you know
problem, here's your problem. Your problem is that the G-Sock is still tethered completely to the radio. It needs a couple of cables to make it work. And so it's sitting on your desk, and you have the body of the G90 buried off somewhere, and it's not really more efficient. It's just bigger. And it doesn't work right either. You can't do really any processing on the body of it. So that's kind of the problem with remote radio right now. You go the tablet-y smart device route, which means that you have to provide functionality to do things like logging and single sideband voice and digital modes, or you just say, run this application on your computer and you can run it on your laptop remotely, right? So it's really just we're kind of in a wild west when it comes to remoting radios, whether they're remoted over a wire or remoted over a network or remoted over the internet, right? It's It's not a great time for any of that, but Flex is probably the closest to having a really seamless system until their servers crash, and then that's a whole problem that everybody complains about on Facebook.
Yeah, you can actually, though, VPN your smart SDR into your radio. So you don't really need smart SDR. A lot of guys are now just abandoning.
Oh, I agree.
The smart link. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
they're abandoning smart link and using their own VPNs.
They should be doing that because they're depending on SmartLink being able to bridge all the connection. It's literally an internet switchboard that they've created for Flex, and it would be much wiser and much smarter for everybody with a Flex radio to set up an appropriate VPN for whatever computer they're going to remote into their Flex radio and do it that way. That is a much better way of doing it.
Yeah, Sun is actually doing Expert Electronics.
I'm like, Sun is getting into the ham radio game? Don, how excited are you about this?
Well, I'd be excited if Sun came back, but the Expert Electronics is kind of doing the same thing. They have their own server out there. Mm-hmm. But the neat thing about their server is you can actually enable that, and then you can hit the thing with a web browser. And it looks pretty good and it sounds pretty good on the web browser. So, like I said, their Sun is doing some really amazing things with their radios.
The hottest thing in ham radio is Sun is bringing back Novell for ham radio. It's the hottest thing in ham radio.
With the Spark chip.
The Spark chip. We're all going to be on Sun. What was it? The blades that they made? The little, what did they call those stupid little terminals that you could use? Sunblades. Sunblades, I think they're called.
Oh God, Sunblades.
God, they were horrible. They're so bad.
I pulled. Well, anyway, I'm not going to go into my history, but I trashed those at my company.
I worked on a program, a high speed, low drag program, and they had them, and I'm like, what is this garbage? What are we doing, guys? What are we doing?
Well, I started on Sun back in 1980 something. And yeah, they really didn't change a whole hell of a lot. In fact, their greatest innovations and their greatest software achievements were done on the 386i and the 486i by the Boston group. And when those guys, when they basically got rid of those guys, it basically went downhill from there. I still used them until just recently, but yeah.
Oh, they're real cool vintage now, though.
Yeah. So is that all the old Silicon Labs machines? Those are super cool.
Yeah.
Those are super
Silicon Graphics, you mean?
That's what I mean. Sorry, Silicon Graphics.
Oh, I got a WebM that I should drop. Man, it goes through like the whole history in like, I don't know, 10 or 15 seconds, and it just drops logo after logo after logo.
Oh, right.
Of all of these things that like, I remember every stinking one of those.
Yeah, it's
and the people too.
It's always a good time on the old vintage computer show. By the way, Steve, last couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, Steve, temporarily offline. Good channel for vintage computing, particularly Amigas and the stuff he's working on. I think that's I myself, God, what was it? I can't remember now. But the Sinclair. I still need to get a decent Sinclair. I have one that's all beat up and the keyboard's all screwed up because the keyboard is trash on them. But I would like to get one that's a little bit better. So anyway, that's not ham radio. So guys here watching on the YouTubes or out here on the Discord, you guys have any? Just open it up. Any questions on ham radio? Let's talk. Let's chat. What kind of problems you got? Go for it.
I've got one.
Go for it.
All right. For some of the DMR D-Star gurus on the Tuesday night net, I got a new 705, and I was able to get in there. And my thing is it seems like I don't know if it's a setting I'm missing or if that's the nature of the beast, but it seems like when I'm in the net, it times out and I can't receive net control or any of the other people on there after I'm dormant for a little bit until I can chunk it. I was wondering, Is that the nature of the beast, or am I missing something there?
I'm assuming this is VHF, UHF, or are you DV mode? What is this?
No, on the Thursday night HRCC digital net.
Oh, HF on 40 meters.
No, the
digital. So DV.
Digital.
So DV.
Yeah.
It could be. There could be a timeout that you have. How are you getting in over D-Star? How are you using a?
Yeah, I'm using on D-Star, just through the server, straight through the radio on the server, not going through a hotspot, just going straight.
Oh.
That function that's on the
You're using it.
The 705, and what is it? The is it the 7600 that also has that same feature?
You're using it as kind of like an access point kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. And then it seems like it times out. I didn't know if there's. I tried looking it up, and I don't see anything about it like timing out. But it seems like if I don't keep chunking it, and then I don't,
How often do you have to chunk?
It seems like maybe once every 2 or 3 check-ins.
That doesn't seem right. That doesn't seem right.
It seems like it's way too often. It should be like, you would think that, like, when you're using a DVMM hotspot, that when you go into a chat, when you go into a reflector or whatnot, usually once you can chunk it once, it just stays there. You would think until you change a setting, it will keep receiving and keep you in the link. But for some reason, it seems like it's not.
So the problem I have is the question you're asking is pretty esoteric. You're talking specifically about a internet. So you're using the 705's wireless LAN to connect to the local internet to tunnel into the D-Star group on for HRCC. I've never done this. I don't know most people who have done this. I don't know anyone who actually does this, by the way. So you have a very niche issue. Have you could talk to Dennis, but I don't even think Dennis has done this. I don't even know that Ethan has a 705. You could go through the settings of the digital voice settings on the 705 and see if there's some kind of timeout. But you're asking a very in the weeds question from my experience. Go ahead. Somebody has an idea. Go for it.
Tio tried this, and he did eventually get it to work, but I don't think there's a timer in it.
Right. So that's what worries me, that it's possibly over on the other side. So part of this is that you could be 100% set up correctly, but there's something over on Ethan's side or on the D-Star side of the net that's not that does have a timer. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, because I followed there's the instructions on the website on how to connect to it through that way, and I have those settings set. But like I said, it works, but like I said, it seems like it times out and I can't hear anything, and then if I could chunk it up, there's net control again.
That seems like some kind of setting. I hate to say, that sounds like a setting, and I don't know what it is. So you've stumped me, because I don't do D-Star that way generally.
Right, like right now I have a hotspot, but my friend has it. I gave it to her because I wasn't using my DMR radio, and because she only has her tech license, she has it, and so I need to get another one for myself, I guess.
Well, I'm sorry, I can't answer your question. You stumped me. I would play around with the settings for DV mode and possibly reach out to Dennis 84. What? Dennis
84 DM.
84 DM. That's right. And
Adam, remember?
Adam. Dennis.
Yeah, 'cause I was
Dennis.
kind of
Dennis.
just throwing this out, not necessarily
I know.
to you, Josh, but
and Ethan. Reach out to Ethan too, who runs the digital net.
I was just kind of throwing this out for anybody that might be in the chat here.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You have a very niche problem, and I don't think anyone in this chat probably uses the 705 that way. So consider yourself part of the elite.
Oh, great! I'm a guinea pig.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the question about D-Star?
I also get for you guys harassing
well, kind of
on the podcast, but hey,
Wi-Fi terminal mode.
So let me. Yeah, he's using the Wi-Fi connection on the 705 to do D-Star through the internet. No RF.
Yep. Yeah, so terminal mode.
So he has to kerchunk the mic every 2 minutes to be able to hear again. Like it turns off everything on him. So yes. So Evan, Ethan, and I have all been through that, and it often has to do with UPnP in the ports in your router, and your actual internet connection is timing out on the 705.
Is I don't know anything really about the D-Star stuff. Is it using like TCP?
It is, and I don't have the ports handy, but if you want to hit me up in DM or something, then we can look that information up. We spent hours and hours and hours troubleshooting that stuff.
I love it.
There are a line of commercial sort of cable modems that have a known issue with TCP, and that could be it.
Okay,
I don't have a cable modem. I have I'm on fiber.
Oh,
yeah. So anyway, Dave, hit up Alec, who's one of our admins too, and maybe send him a direct message, and he can send you the ports. So it sounds like it's an internet. So you're literally getting timed out on the internet side.
I was wondering if that was it. So yeah, I just got to learn how to do because I have full control of the router, so I can.
Nice.
If I got to do port forwarding or whatever on the router, that's fine.
Yeah, sorry it took me a second. I was answering questions in chat, and I wasn't really listening to the voice.
Now I just got to try to find you in here. Now I got to find out where.
He's at the very top. He's the first one on the top.
I got to find out what the heck I did with my mouse. My mouse is missing. I can't scroll.
It should be on your table, right next to your keyboard.
Yeah, I stole it.
That's right.
And for anybody else listening, really quick, what we usually do is we set up a static port forward. I think it's UDP 40,000. That's the port that D-Star terminal mode uses. So, and I think Ethan may have put it in his most recent video, but definitely shoot me a DM and we'll get you fixed up.
Very good. Well, I'm glad we figured that out. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to let you go here. I don't know the answer to your question. So thank you, Alec. Appreciate that. And it sounds like you guys have worked hard on that one. All right. Anybody else in there that just open-ended questions, ham radio questions? Let's have them. Bring them forward.
I have a question.
All right. Don's always got good questions. Go for it.
I'm going to drop a picture in the chat, and so I need some help with interpreting what the hell I'm supposed to do here.
Okay.
So that is the audio settings on the Sun SDR. And what's happening is normally on HF, there's no issue. I don't even touch it. But on VHF, it sounds like I'm underwater when I talk. And what the guys in the club are telling me is to boost the mids and lower the highs and the lows. And I've never used
one
of those boards things. So I have no idea what that means.
Well, if this is a proper equalizer, your mids is the teal color in the middle, the green and the yellow. So if you
said sounds like water.
Yeah.
Could the noise cancellation be on?
Well, there's everything that's there, right? Those are all the settings. I don't know. I don't think so. I have the compressor on, but and I probably shouldn't be using the compressor on VHF, UHF. Now this is actually I pulled it up on 40 meters, so I think it's the same on all of them. But
I would see what happens when you switch, because if it's turning the noise cancellation on, that's a very noise cancellation thing. It makes you sound like you're underwater if it's too strong.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we have a parent function on a repeater, and they set it up because, unfortunately with a HF radio like this, you don't get a DTMF key deal. So I couldn't send DTMF tones, so they opened it up for me. But
so, question for you, Don: what's boost in the upper left corner?
That is, it's kind of like mic gain, but it's a little bit more refined, if you will.
Could it be processing, digital processing?
Well, that's what the compressor's doing, right?
I mean, all of it has to be digital processing because it's an SDR. So have you tried turning off both of them and see if you sound different?
No, and that's the thing I'm having a little trouble with too is, well, I guess the only way I could do it would be to transmit and listen on an HT because I don't know how I can
there
hear
you go.
myself.
Yeah, or use an SDR. Use another SDR. Put it on. Put the sun on a dummy load like I did today to drop the actual power output received for your local radios.
Find a Kiwi near you.
Yeah.
Good luck.
So on a dummy load, by the way, I have a 300 watt or 100 watt dummy load, but I think it only goes up to HF. So I assume there are ones that are like VHF or
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I know we have some at work that go up to 24 gigahertz, but
yeah, but they're probably not cheap either.
Well, I could probably borrow one, but I doubt seriously it would work on 2 meters. So I need to because the sun has 2 meters built into it, and it gets 8 watts out of 2 meters, but it doesn't have 440. So, but anyway, yeah, I need to find a dummy load for 2 meters. But I should do that. Yeah, you're right. Because I don't, like I said, I'm not used mixers and fooled with audio. That's just one of those things. I mean, it's not my thing. And if somebody doesn't like either say, oh, okay, set it this way or whatever. I've with Flex and all the other radios I've had, I haven't needed to do this. So this is a complete mystery. Anyway, thanks for the advice, Josh.
Okay. Well, yeah, good luck. All right. Who else? Anybody else in there with
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Solarize first, and then we'll go to the next person.
Sure. So what would be the social, ethical, and philosophical implications of doing FT8 over Echolink?
Oof.
Stupid.
I don't know. I don't know what the implications of it would be because it's
double digital.
Yeah, but Echolink is made for repeaters.
No, I get it.
Yeah, and who'd be there to receive it?
Everybody that was connected to the repeater that he was on.
Yeah,
then you probably get disconnected really quick.
Yep.
It would make you very popular.
Well, it would take us Brits back to the early days of packets when they didn't have an assigned frequency for it. So it just used to pop up all over the place.
Oh wow, that's fun.
That's why we hated packet so much. They didn't have it, so you'd be there tuning around the channelized sections on your thing, and the next channel would be full of squawky beepy noises at like volume number 11.
We've been doing slow scan on a repeater.
Yeah, so that's kind of like funsy stuff. If you're on the repeater and nobody minds, like sure, go nuts, like that's cool. But like if you're just gonna go on to the repeater's, Echolink and transmit audio into the microphone while you're click the hold down the PTT button on the phone, that's just kind of creating interference if you think about it.
Yeah, I would make sure you know who's the owner and make sure it's cool with them.
Yeah, if they're all fine with it, then sure, go for it. But if it's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna do this, it's like, well, you're kind of being a jerk a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe suggest like, I don't know, an FT8 net or something for your local clubs on that repeater.
Well, I don't know, like do SSTV over the repeater. That's fun. Like there's a lot of people that do that. That's like a big thing.
I've tuned into my local like emergency, like the local emergency response center one, and just turned on an STTV encoder and straight into my Baofeng.
Sure. I mean, if
I
they're
have a
down with it, that's fine.
suggestion.
Go ahead.
I have a suggestion, Josh. Where the ham radio crash course ought to have another HF net, but specifically for D-Star.
Oh, here we go.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because you're supposed to do D-Star on HF, you're supposed to be able to do it. No one's doing it.
We
the only
do.
way to get, yeah, no,
Ham
Nation,
Ham Nation does
no.
it. Ham Nation does it.
Yeah, but hang on a minute.
Oh, that's right.
Nobody can actually get hold of that.
Why?
And knows when it is. I don't know when it is, and I listen to Ham Nation.
We always talk about it at the end. It's the 14 Charlie.
Yeah, but it's
14 Charlie.
Well, yeah, but that's Ham Nation. That's not Ham Radio Crash Course.
Well, but I don't understand what's different from just being the digital net we have where D-Star is included.
No, I want to see I want to see HF move to digital.
Yeah. When you say
Charlie,
HF.
I don't mean doing D-Star on VHF.
I'm sorry,
because everybody
you're
in the
right.
dog does that.
No,
I think we should start using some kind of digital mode on HF regularly.
You did say that.
You know, Mike, I've heard M0JEO has done that.
Yeah, I've done it with him. Oh. That's what I'm saying.
to-
It needs somebody more than just two idiots trying to find out if it works or not to do it a little bit more often.
Yeah, I'd like any of those like HF modes to be done.
Yeah, it don't always have to be like D-Star, but the D-Star's the one that's convenient because most, a few people have that.
Turns out D-Star is excellent for 160 meters.
So if I took my 705 and hooked it up to my XB125 amp and just did D-Star through it, we could do a live stream with just making contacts on that.
Yes,
that would be hilarious. That would be funny.
Yeah, but apparently somebody does it in the States. Somebody does a HF D-Star net, but no one ever knows nobody knows when it is. It's not publicized in any way.
And there's supposedly a spotting page for D-Star over HF, but even when he runs that net, if he ever does, he never spots it on there. It's the only place I know to look for D-Star nets. But
I mean, the ironic thing is I don't have access to it, so I would miss out. But the thing is, I'd like to see somebody make some kind of effort to sort of start it. Because unless somebody does, it's just going to, even if we use that, I've forgotten what it's called now, that other digital mode you tried. Pre-DV, which is spotty and weird, but does seem to work. But I mean, me and Rob did a few tests with D-Star on his way home because he's got a 7100 and he left his 705 unattended. And so we found the best communications on D-Star was actually using D-Star on top band. But there you go, that's another story.
There is a group on Groups.io called HFD Star. It's a mailing list, and I'm not sure. I think it's a little early, but they're definitely kind of active. I mean, 1 or 2 messages a week. I don't know much about it. I'm brand new to all this anyway, but I'm on there.
So on dstarinfo.com, there are HF nets. I can drop a link in chat there, but I don't know how well they're attended. They are scheduled.
Okay, well, fair enough. More information is good.
I should do that. That's fun.
I agree with you, and Rob and I have talked about it many, many times. My problem is I only have the 705 for D-Start, and I can only do 10 watts because my amplifier, I don't want to push digital through it. But I agree with you. If I had a 7100, I would be all over it all day.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things I haven't pulled out the 7100 in a while, and that was one of the things really that I wanted to do with it was D-Star over HF.
Why would you not want to push digital out over an amplifier? Is it just because it kind of smushes things?
Full duty cycle. You'll blow it up eventually.
Yeah, it's for
I mean, it's a little wide.
Yeah.
It's like pushing
D-Star's a
AM
little
through
wide
it.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I avoid. I literally started out with the
I love
Mercury. I was doing it quite often, but I've stopped doing it. You know what? I just don't find I need it anyway. 10 watts might be a little iffy, but I mean, even on the QRP radios, like even the True SDX or whatever else I've used, I've been able to make like incredible contacts on FT8 with 5 watts. So I mean, yeah, digital voice is a little iffy, but
All right, there was somebody had another question. Let's take that, and I'm going to run to the restroom. So let's take the question. Are you still there?
Yeah, I got one for you, sir.
Oh, you got a lot of static in the background. I heard you. Come back again. I don't know if you got a hot mic gain situation. Try again. No, I don't hear you at all.
Well,
whenever he gets through.
Well,
if you built an amplifier for digital, would that work then? Like, when you just need B
Oh,
for billing?
there are plenty of amplifiers that will do AM. They'll do high duty cycle. Just mine won't. It's not made for AM.
Okay.
Did I see ham radio for non-techies? He's here. No, he's,
Yeah,
he's right above me.
you.
Okay, yeah. All right, let's try. Was it Sergeant Aton again? Are you there?
Yeah, how's that? Any better?
Not any better, but I hear you fine. You just got a lot of background noise. Go ahead. What's your question?
Gotcha. So I'm going to be involved with the Scouts and the Cub Scouts coming up next month. I'll be running the Jamboree on the air station.
Okay.
I'm also the merit badge counselor for radio and electronics and all that. Pretty much everything affiliated with radio stuff. So my question is for anybody with the experience. I'm going to basically be taking any Scouts in the area that want that merit badge, working through it and running the Jamboree on the air station. Anything to avoid or anything that keeps their attention a little bit better and follows the requirements for that merit badge? Because I know getting them to talk on the radio is the hardest part, but other than putting my dipoles up with my drone or my potato gun, trying to think of anything that would hold their attention or make it more entertaining for the kids.
Yeah.
Avoid 702.
Yeah, so the thing to keep in mind about that merit badge is it's not just ham radio anymore. There's more to it now. And I don't know that you can satisfy 100% of the requirements of that merit badge with ham radio alone. I happen to have this book right here, so I'm going to grab it.
And our Scoutmaster did it on 2 meters. He set it up on our repeater, and then he just kind of rolled the Scouts through talking to me and a couple of other people that were on the repeater and just talked to the kids for a few minutes.
I was about to say, too, are you set up for satellite work at all? Because that would be kind of cool to show them.
No.
I can kind of get that set up, but I'm looking at the radio merit badge.
Yeah.
They came out with a communications merit badge, which has a bunch of different stuff. This is radio specific. Mm-hmm. But basically, I'm going to be set up probably running an 857D, an 817ND, and I'm going to try and get a VA and UHF on the air. Because in the Atlanta area, I have plenty of local hams that'll help me out, because they don't want to come out and actually set up with me, but they'll at least talk to the kids, which I appreciate.
Yeah,
but it's just a matter of making it interesting for the kids, because most of the other ham clubs are ate up with people who are, I hate to say it, they're kind of curmudgeons, and I can't really get them to interface with the kids in a meaningful way.
Yeah, so as I remembered, the merit badge book has a rule breakdown where you get like a choose your own adventure point. You can basically do one of the following, and it's A, B, or C, or D, and A is amateur radio. And I'll just read through them because it's very easy.
Is FT8 on there?
Yeah, no, it's not. Tell why the FCC has amateur radio license service to describe activities that amateur radio operators can do on the air once they have earned their amateur radio license. Explain the differences between technician general and extra class license requirement and privileges. Explain at least 5 Q signals in amateur radio terms. Explain how you would make an emergency call on voice or Morse code. Explain the differences between handheld transceivers and home base station transceivers. And using proper call signs, Q signals, and abbreviations, carry on a 10-minute real or simulated amateur radio contact using voice, Morse code, or digital. Licensed amateur radio operators may substitute 5 QSL cards as evidence of contact with 5 amateur radio operators. Properly log the real or simulated ham radio contact and record the signal report. So it sounds like, and that's, by the way, how the ham radio, or the Boy Scout books, scouting books go, is that it's really easy, and then it gets like, the last one's hard. So the last one is the hardest one. You have to make, sounds like basically you can make 5 contacts and have QSL cards for them and you're done, which is not difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds like the best thing for you for this situation is have a radio setup connected to a logger, and the logger being a laptop. And it's all refined and ready to go so that you can walk them through the process. Maybe you make 1 or 2 contacts. Personally, this is what I would recommend. If it happens that you are by a POTA site, I would recommend that you do a combo POTA and kind of scout on the air situation. Because then everybody chasing you is getting, well, they're not going to get more points because you're generally the call sign they're going to be using. But it's 10 minutes. No, you could still do the 5, right? Can't you do the 5 directly?
Well, I figure if I'm going to cheese it, we'll be in range of a repeater I have a couple hams standing by on. So if I'm going to throw them on VHF, if I got to cheese it, I'll do it that way.
There you go.
But one of the other catches is there's a rule that I have to do like CQ Jamboree on the air. I can't really combine it. I have to be specific. So that may handicap my doing that. But I see what you're getting at.
No, do both. Why not? Just say, so I just did a soda POTA combo. Just do CQ Jamboree on the air, and we're at a park, blah, 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 and give the park identifier.
Mm-hmm.
Spot both. Who cares?
And by the way, one thing you might want to consider is contact Steve, K5ATA, at the ARRL and see if he's got any resources for you.
There you go.
Well, there's the website through the Scouts is quite handy. It's got contact sheets I've printed out. It's the information how to run that's pretty good. It's more along the lines of how do I keep kids interested in what's kind of turning into a dying hobby in my region.
Yeah,
and that's the catch.
Well, you remember Steve is like he was a YouTuber, had a lot of YouTube videos, and was quite active on YouTube. And he was a teacher in Mississippi, I think, but anyway, in the South. And he took many of his students through getting their amateur radio license, and he conducted a lot of things to get kids out, get them active, get them doing POTAs and talking to their friends on amateur radio and all of that stuff. So he's a real good guy to know, and the ARRL hired him because of his experiences like that. So that's the reason I was suggesting that you contact Steve.
Could I get his call again? I'm sorry.
K5ATA.
Right.
Cool. Thank you.
So here's. Can I get a? Let me take a moment here. And by the way, I have this out because I'm making a video on this. Can a real ham radio operator pass the Boy Scout merit badge, or scouting merit badge, regardless? So, by the way, it's not hard to pass this merit badge at all. The problem, though, and the problem I see with lots of things around me when I look around, when I see kids and young people, this isn't really scratching the itch. This is like, tell us about the rules the adults tell us we have to follow. They don't tell us what's cool about ham radio in this book. Like, they don't tell us about why you should be doing ham radio. And I appreciate that the book can't, like, pick up on POTA and SOTA and all that stuff. Like, it can't do that. It can't act fast enough. So literally, it's in your hands to share that with them. And so if that means that, like, you do, yes, you can cheese it. Of course, you could always cheese it and go to the repeater. But why not try and do the merit badge in a park and try and activate the park and make as many contacts as you can, and then say, okay, let's cheese ball it. Let's close this thing out. You know, like I think that's what I think that would be great if you could do that. I think that would actually make future hams versus just get someone a merit badge.
And I can tell you from POTA experience, if you get kids or ladies on the air on POTA, you get a pileup like you wouldn't believe. So people want to help, and POTA is one of those things where there are plenty of people out there hunting. And if you like when you spot yourself, spot yourself and say, you know, hey, this is Jamboree on the air, and I've got a bunch of kids. Believe me, people will come. And then once you get the kids talking on the air, that'll generate a lot of contacts just from people wanting to help out.
Yeah, the last time we did a Jamboree on the air, we couldn't actually go to a Jamboree because my son's a Cub Scout, not a Boy Scout yet. But I literally had him sitting next to me, and we did contacts with Scouts. We were going back and forth with them, trying to make... It's kind of like telling kids they got to rag chew for 10 minutes. That's not great. That's not... I don't like that. I really don't like that, personally. But
well, see, the way I read into that is 10 minutes total, and that's what I'm going to...
Round robin with multiple kids?
Yeah.
Well, but I figure, again, if I'm going to... My intention is to keep them on 20, 40, 75, and the 2-meter cheesing it is, we're running out of time, we can't get on the air. And it's just a last resort to get the box checked for kids who are actually trying.
You could totally do this as a POTA then, man. You could totally do it as a POTA, make contacts as a POTA, and then cheese it. Totally.
Well, the only catch with the POTA thing is I'm being told where to go, and now I'm finding out that I might be the only person in all of my district that's going to be putting this on, so I may have a field full of kids, and me and one other ham. So I'm seeing a lot of great suggestions in the chat about doing satellite and all this other cool stuff, but the problem is I'm already going to be running my solar panel set up with my wind turbine, putting my dipoles up with my drone or my tennis ball launchers.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of at my bandwidth for the amount of breadth that I can cover by myself, plus one stranger who I don't know who he is.
Yeah. So for everybody that's watching that doesn't know about how scouting works with merit badges, they're these small little tiny books, and the first couple of pages has the requirements for their merit badge. And like anywhere there's a 1, a number, and then like all these A, B, C, D, E, blah, 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 you've got to do all the 1s, the 2s, the 3s, unless it says do 1, 2, or 3. It'll tell you. But you got to go through and do all of these. And so they're not like... It doesn't give you a lot of like free space. Like there's not go make a satellite contact. I mean, they could make that a part of this, but then the merit badge would become really, really difficult. So they tried to make it relatively straightforward. So the answers that the requirements I gave for amateur radio, that's just one of the choose your own adventures. The first requirement is explain what radio is, then discuss the following: the difference between broadcast radio and hobby radio, the difference between broadcast and two-way communications, radio station call signs and how they are used in broadcast radio and amateur radio. Right, like those are... That's like general, like super general. The amateur radio aspect of it is honing in some, but even then, it's just about like trying to use the radio, demonstrate radio use. Scout merit badges are not that difficult. There's only a couple of merit badges that are like very difficult.
Yeah. When they say explain this, explain it to who?
The person that's the docent. So Sergeant Aton, for instance.
Oh, okay. All right.
Or are you a Scoutmaster or Assistant Scoutmaster?
I'm a Cub Master, but I'm also the Scout Marriage Badge Counselor, so
okay,
I could have tons of kids here, but like you said, it's not that it's hard. I'm just trying to find a way to make it more entertaining for anyone with experience, because the basic thing is just set up any standard time I go camping radio station, and the kids will talk to somebody. It'll be fun, but there's got to be a better way to do it. I figured the drone would get some of the kids' attention.
I like the back. Go ahead. Sorry.
Putting up the antennas is a really good deal, and the kids really like the fox hunts.
Yeah, but they don't need it for the merit badge, though. So that's kind of what I'm saying.
I know, but if there's going to be a bunch of them there, you can throw them a radio and say, "All right, this group, y'all go chase the fox around while we're sitting here with these couple guys on radio." You
know what, Sergeant Aton? Now I'm looking at this. So remember, it's a choose your own adventure. You can do one of the following, and A is just straight up amateur radio. But what is B? Broadcast radio. Okay, we'll skip that. Where's C? C is... I skipped it. It's D that I think a lot of hams would be into. Shortwave and medium wave listening. Okay, I could do that whole thing. But here's D. Check this out, Aton. I think this would get kids super jazzed. Amateur radio direction finding. Yes! Describe amateur radio direction finding and explain why direction finding is important as an activity and a competition. Describe what frequencies and equipment are used in ADF or fox hunting. build a simple direction-finding antenna for either of the two frequencies used in ARDF.
Oh God.
Participate. I know that one's a hard one.
Well, the next one's the problem. That participation, I need minimum 2 deep leadership. And
you're right. Yeah.
That's the killer. Is I don't have enough adults to do.
Yeah.
To be in 2 places at once.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, scouting requires 2 adults per X number of children. You can never have like 1 adult alone with a child anymore. Which, good call, scouts. Good call on that one. That's good. As someone who is now an assistant Cub Scout lead, I guess, whatever they call them, I agree. I now find myself in that position.
Yeah, but the way we did the tape measure Yagis at our club is we got everybody together, and so basically at a scout meeting, you get a bunch of scouts together because you'd have multiple adults there at the time.
Yeah,
and you build a tape measure Yagi. That's all you got to do.
Control Defeat. Thanks for subscribing. Appreciate it.
How are you going to have all these different kids go out on their own and try and find this antenna?
No, you don't.
Maybe
you go
like
as a group.
You build like a dipole as a group and explain a little bit of physics and hey, light travels at like 300 million meters per second, and like get them into like math a little bit that way or something.
Let's talk about the world of scouting. So the merit badge books are built around like the every kid approach, and then the kids whose dads are like super into this particular aspect of the merit badge or scouting, and that's what the hard mode is. The RDF side is like the hard mode of this merit badge, and you can do that. You can totally do that, but you're not required to. The first option is probably the way to go, from my point of view.
Yeah, the way that our club does like fox hunts is it's not first to the post, and so everybody goes. I mean, the foxes are out from Friday night late until Monday morning, and during that time, anytime during that time, you can go, and this is where I'm going with this. Families go out together, and all 5 of them find the work together to find the fox. And in fact, most of the guys that I know go out in pairs at least to find the fox. And then when you find the fox, you just scan a URL or scan a deal that says, "Oh, okay, I've found this fox because I've scanned this number."
Right.
From the QR code that's on the box. And that's all you got to do. And so basically all of the kids could work together to find the fox and scan the silly code the way that we do it. And honestly, to me, the way we do it is the better way, because first to the post is like you're running around racing through streets and stuff, and I just don't get it. So I think that's actually dangerous. But eliminating the first to the post and basically saying, look, everybody gets a chance to find the fox. And then at the end of the month, we put everybody's name in the hat that got the QR code, and we spin, and you win a prize, right? So that's how somebody, quote, wins, is from that random drawing. So I think the way that we do it in the club is pretty good. By the way, there is a guy in Dallas, and I just don't remember his name, but he does the Philmont Jamboree on the air every year. Mm-hmm. So he's out at Philmont, and he's got a great deal of experience. I just can't remember his name.
Well, I'm going to put a video together on like can a ham actually pass the scouting merit badge book, and yes, the short answer is yes. It's not difficult at all. But I got to say, by the way, like the merit badge books are actually pretty good. They've got lots of pictures, and you could put like a young person. Where's a good one for amateur radio? Like there's lots of really interesting pictures that are in here. Hold on, that's not just people talking. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, I found Ray Novak. There's Ray Novak. I found him. That's funny. Hold on. That cracks me up, man. Ray's everywhere, I swear. If there's a radio, around you, Ray Novak may be there. So RDF stuff, right? Like explaining how RDF works. It's actually, I have so many of these. I got so many merit badges when I was in Boy Scouts. I was a beast at killing merit badges. I ripped them apart, man. But anyway,
You're one of the ones that got the atomic energy one.
I did not get atomic energy. I got a lot of the ones that was just, you had to. I like the ones where you had to have the merit badge before it. You had to have the prerequisite merit badge. There's only a couple of those, and I would go after those because those were like I was already there. So let's do the next step because I'm already embedded. So I hope radio merit badge a double up would be kind of wild, but anyway.
Yeah, believe it or not, that book back in 1960 something is the reason I got into ham radio, because I read it. My dad could not afford the equipment, so there was no way I could do it. But that was the one that I absolutely wanted to do, and so when the CB thing came out, I was already, or the craze came out, I was already ready for it. And then years later, I mean, I still, to this day, I remember reading that book and being so interested in what was in that merit badge book.
So anyway, look forward to that video. I kind of gave a spoiler alert a little bit. Video coming out soon on that. Sergeant Anton, I like the direction you're going. I think the back pocket repeater is always a good thing to have. A Scoutmaster in a bush with AHT will do it as well. Like that, it doesn't have to be as complicated as that. And I definitely know that's how people do it. But I like the idea of trying to make it adjacent to actually having a POTA. And I know you're told you have to go to a certain location. So why not just try and chase POTA then? Add that. Maybe add. This is hard. This is probably for older scouts. The younger scouts is going to be too difficult to do this with. But if it's an older scout, you can probably get them to understand the nomenclature, the back and forth of chasing POTA, and you might be able to do it with them. But yeah, I'm sorry, I'm giving you a lot, and I know how this works. I really do with the young people. So I respect what you're doing. Good job.
No, I'm appreciating this because I'm trying to apply all the things because I've been the vice president of our ham radio club for like 6 years now, so trying to come up with things to put on presentations to seasoned hams is enough of a challenge. So now I'm bringing a bunch of kids from zero, but half the catch is I've got all the equipment. I'll be bringing everything from DMR, VU, 3 dipoles, 2 radios, all the solar stuff. I'm just trying to, it's only because I use it constantly, so it's not a chore. It's just trying to get the kids to talk into the radio. I've been warned is going to be a big deal, and I just figured there's got to be a better way to get them interested into something they think is an antiquated form of technology. Because I hate to say it, if I brought any of the hams that I interface in the Atlanta area with, they'll bore the kids to death pulling out a straight key and just carrying on a QSO and not, I don't know. There's a huge disconnect with most hams and the Utes these days. They just can't seem to talk with them.
Yeah, I agree, and that's why I think digital modes would be a better fit for this instead of a 10-minute QSO, right?
Comment?
Yeah, I'm going to let you go on your comment. I'm going to run to the restroom, so I'm going to let you take your comment while I'm going to the restroom. Everybody on the YouTube and the Twitch side, hang out, watch an ad while I run to the restroom. So, go ahead.
The only comment over, we had Jamboree on the air also in the UK, so number of years experience. Not, massively not on the teaching side, but certainly young kids certainly like to make things that go beep. So pull out that ancient old Morse key and the beeping thing, and teach them to send their name in Morse. It's not part of the curriculum, but it certainly is something that we always found went down well.
Oh man, if I was a kid still, and someone put me in front of a computer with SDR sharp, like I'd be lost in the computer looking at all the different things I could listen to.
Well, and that's the problem is I'm trying to keep it simple, not only because it might just be me plus all the kids, but same thing. I mean, nobody on scene except maybe this other ham, if he shows, are going to have a clue. So, I don't know, trying to keep all of their attention while I'm trying to operate a station it's going to be a challenge enough. So I think the more places I have to put myself, the harder it'll be.
That's what's hard is dealing with over about 3 of them on the radio. That's why I suggested the fox hunt. You can turn them loose with a, as long as you've got somebody else there to watch the other group, turn them loose with a handheld and tell them, hold it on their chest and do a circle, and whenever it gets louder, go that way.
And the fox hunt's a great idea. The problem is logistically, every group of scouts needs not just 2 adults, but 2 trained, vetted, background checked in the system on the radar adults.
Well,
and it's
saying your fox is 100 yards away over there in the bush, and you've got them with a handheld holding it to their chest doing a circle, wherever it gets louder, body blocking the signal.
Oh, well, but then the other part is I have to get all that put together between now and then, and I'm kind of already out of bandwidth with my life. So that's why I'm trying to go with what I got, but this is great information for when I have more lead time.
It's hard dealing with over about 3 of them at a radio at once. You'll lose them.
Well, that's why I'm trying to take one of my radios and find an interesting shortwave, radio Taiwan or something, anything interesting for them to sit there and listen to. And then the other station will actually be transmitting, and if I get kind of squirrely, maybe I'll bring out my my little SDR and pull out the laptop and put a waterfall in front of them so they can kind of see 2 things at once. And that way at least I'm pulling a computer out and they can see something instead of just sitting there listening to us talking. But if all else fails, I got a couple of hams that are going to sit on 75 meters and in the area just so we have someone to keep talking to.
Oh, there'll be plenty of people to talk to, I'm sure. There's always people looking for that.
Yeah, based on the book, it doesn't say that. It just says participate in a simple fox hunt, which means you don't really need to break the group down. You can just let them all basically go together as a group to find the fox. And
with one antenna and radio.
Yeah. And then when they find it, then they're supposed to be able to explain how they arrived at that deal, which if they work as a group, they should kind of all know how they got there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, somehow or another, you have to create a fox. That's one of the tricky parts to that. I mean, we have like 4 or 5 guys in our club that are just like that. They love creating foxes.
The easiest solution for creating a fox is just go to Bionics and buy one. They're micro fox
and an Arduino.
Awesome.
I've got a little tiny one that runs off of a coin battery, and it runs on 2 meters. It's stupid simple.
All right, not the ones our guys come up with.
Well, it sounds like you guys are doing a lot more, so that's cool too.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Just tape a Baofeng to a pig.
Well, they use Baofeng radios inside of those ammo cases, and then and then they have Raspberry Pis hooked to them, and they transmit all kinds of stuff, not call signs, SSTV images, all kinds of stuff on on a random timer, and they're not that easy to find.
Oh, so they're actually timed out. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
They're doing random timing, so it's not a deal. Now they have a limit for how long they'll stay silent, but yeah, it's random, so it could transmit every a minute from now or 5 minutes from now. You don't know, and so it's and you don't know what it's going to transmit. You don't know if it's going to be an SSTV image or SSTV. It'll all be on the same frequency, but they even do in some cases, one of the guys even switches to sideband and transmits on sideband.
Gotcha. No, it's all great information. I don't think I'm gonna have the time to get all that new stuff ready. Like digital, I have a blind spot for digital because I've never played with it, and the direction finding, I haven't done that since my Civil Air Patrol days, but hopefully next year, because I'm just worried I'm not going to have time. I'm kind of jammed up, but I'm taking notes, and it's good information because there are some scouts, there are some of the youths do want to learn about our hobby, and as much as I've tried outside of Scouts, I just can't seem to get anyone's attention because I don't know if in your regions you have what we refer to in the southeast as like the Baofeng Army, and it's a lot of people with a particular mindset scaring people out of the hobby, and it's kind of bad in my area.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like, how do I make YouTube videos, right? And a lot of people watch them, but it's not fixing the problem on the ground. You got to fix your problem on the ground. If you got crusty old dudes that are horrible to deal with, and they like their specific aspect of ham radio, and they're against all other forms of ham radio, it's like, well, what do I do for that? You want me to call somebody, right? I can't, like, you got to be the change you want to see in the world. If you don't like the assholes that run your club, so you got to run for your club member. You got to become the leader of that. Otherwise, you just get to live with what it is, right? And if you don't want to play with that drama, which I don't personally, I hate club drama. I hate drama in general of anything that runs on a committee. Can't stand it. I get it. So reach them a different way then. Get outside of the traditional forms. Start making YouTube videos. Start doing something different.
Well, and like you said in a previous after chat, you said something about, because I think I was belly aching about the geriatric net or the colostomy bag net on 80, and your response was, well, what are you doing? It's like, well, you're absolutely right. So called council and said, all right, who needs ham radio stuff? And I'm getting into it. But yeah, one of the most heartbreaking things I had to do, because I worked at a Motorola shop in the Metro Atlanta area, and I was putting on classes when DMR hit, trying to teach these hams step by step and building a code plug in the meeting in front of them.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And all I got was, well, no, you need to do it this way. And the guy in the back who ran the DMR repeater was like, how about you shut up and listen to the guy that Motorola trained directly to make this code plug? No, you don't need receive groups. Listen to the guy. And all they would do is pass around jacked up code plugs to each other. So like you said, I would dive in, get the code plug, take it from their hands, fix it, hand it back, but then realized nobody wanted to learn how to make a DMR code plug because it's not hard. They wanted me to make it for them and hand it to them because they didn't have CPS. It's like, I give up. And that's what drove our previous club leader pretty much to be a jerk no one would want to deal with, as I realized eventually he wasn't always that way. They made him that way.
Right.
Now I'm trying not to be made that way myself.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I'm sorry if I came off a little too hard then on, like, what are you doing? You're doing a lot. I get it.
Oh, no, hell no. It was a fair criticism.
So the reality of it is that, like, you have to consider like, if you're going in front of a group of people and they're and what's going to happen is, so honestly, I mean, this might sound crazy, but I've done talks with people, and you have somebody he's almost like the stand-up comedian heckler in the back. He's the know-it-all ham, sorry to say, sad ham in the back, who's got all the know-it-how on the building of the code plug. And you just say, like, oh, do you want to build a code plug live with me then? Do you want to get behind the keyboard and do it right now? Or do you just want to hear me, like, explain how Motorola, the company of the radios that you think are so great, does it? Maybe you don't say it the way I just said it right now, but like, you kind of have to throw it back on those people a little bit so that they temper, like, what they're doing, because sometimes I don't even think they know they are the way they are, right? Like, they don't possess the ability to objectively look at themselves. Like, they have no self-reflection in the statements they make. And that's not hams. We're not unique. All humans have this problem. So they don't really see how they come across a lot of times, right? So the way you send the message out, the way you explain to them can be different to explain, no, you don't actually get it. I'm not trying to insult you. The way you're doing it can work, but it can be much better, and here's why, right? Like, that kind of stuff, which it sounds like you're already doing, but this is for everybody else that's listening.
Sorry, what is the Baofeng Army?
Oh, it's like people who don't want any other radios other than Baofengs, right?
Oh, well.
Baofengs are the best radios.
In my area, I have to temper that with where I'm running a club is a fairly low-income area, And I started with a UV5R myself, so I tell everybody I love that radio because it gets you into the hobby.
Sure.
But then I took it to work and looked at it on a spectrum analyzer and realized, oh, good God, I need to tell these people never to transmit into one again. And it was less to do with the radio specifically, but we always found with the repeaters that we were running that there just seemed to be this mindset that followed people that came at us with their Baofangs specifically. Everyone was on a fixed income. Nobody could get things for themselves. Nobody wanted to learn anything. And you would carry on a conversation and realize 5 minutes into it, every time somebody approached you, Baofang in hand, it didn't matter how much you were willing to teach them. All they really wanted was for you to program the radio and to stop talking so they could go back to kerchunking the repeater just to make sure it exists. And so it just...
Yeah.
It wasn't that we hated the people, it's just it was a constant problem, and every time you had the problem, it was another person who bought 3 UV5Rs on eBay, gave it out to all these buddies, and they just kerchunk back and forth and think it's the coolest thing. It's like, well, why'd you get a license if you aren't going to talk on the repeater? And why am I maintaining 3 repeaters for you guys just to sit there and practice terrible etiquette on the repeater and just keep clicking the mic? It's like, go do that somewhere else, anywhere else. So it was just a mindset that followed it.
I feel like always that there's a teaching moment in those individuals, and I know that maybe they're just wholly unwilling to be taught at that point. I get it. Anyway, hopefully I have another video.
How RF filters work.
I have another video that we're going to be talking about the Baofeng. It's back on the chopping block again in the coming week here. But yeah, so let's slide on here a little bit. I want to give Scott a chance. Scott's back. He joined us a little bit late, but I appreciate Ham Radio for Non-Techies coming on in here. So are you there, man?
Yeah, I am, Josh. I missed your live stream tonight. I was out with a friend that came in town. And
I understand.
We're out having Mexican food, so.
I get it. I'd be out eating Mexican food otherwise, right? Okay. So what's going on with you, buddy?
Oh, I kind of announced last night. I went ahead and announced my new channel, which is not ham radio related, and got some other cool things coming up for the actual ham radio channel. Working on some new projects and trying to get some new antenna stuff out there. And I think people seem to like DIY stuff, and a lot of my DIY videos on building stuff, like antennas and stuff like that, seem to be pretty popular, and people enjoy building things. I didn't really realize that, but apparently that's the case.
Right on. Oh, yeah, it depends. My kit building live streams are generally like some of my lowest viewed videos, but if you take all of that kit building and squash it into like 15 minutes, then it's good. So
see,
do that.
I was one of those kids that back when I was like, between the age of 7 and maybe 12 years old, Saturday was model building day. And we'd go out during the week, pick out a model airplane or something at the hobby store. And then Saturday, I'd set up the big table out in the living room, watch TV, and build something. So I always like building stuff. Kits and things are always just fun for me.
Yeah, it wasn't until I got the super glue with the zip kicker spray that models actually became like a real thing. Because you had that crappy, goopy model glue, and I hated that model glue. It was horrible. It was the worst thing ever.
Smelled great though, didn't it?
Oh no, it was horrible. It was horrible. Everything about model building before you got zip kicker, the world was a different place.
I must have missed that. I always had that crappy little thing in the little aluminum tube.
Oh,
yeah, the aluminum tube that you would sniff. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it was horrible.
Bad, Don.
Horrible.
I think if I was going to build a really cool kit, my next kit would probably have to be that radio you built a couple weeks ago with the Pi in it and stuff. Had little Pi screen.
S-Bit X, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
that thing looked really cool. I want to see it work, but it looked really cool.
Get the one with the good finals.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Has he fixed it?
I don't know. I haven't gotten final. I'm about to just go buy some of these things and just replace them myself. I'm gonna go figure out what the voltage regulator is and the finals and just replace it because it's been sitting here and it's like, well, what am I supposed to do with this thing? Hey, thank you saying Jeets for subscribing. I missed somebody else too. Thank you for subscribing on the Twitch side. Appreciate it.
They haven't been in contact with like when they'll replace the ones that were fried or whatever? I mean, that's kind of on them, isn't it?
It's on groups.io. Tim, thank you for subscribing. Yeah, because it's a defect, I think he's trying to ship out replacement finals for people, and I don't know what the story is right now. I got to go back on the groups.io and figure it out, to be honest.
He might be having some sort of supply issue.
I
honestly,
think he might
because,
be. That's why I'm thinking about just buying them.
I ordered my SBitX early August, and I didn't get mine till basically beginning of September. So,
Don just dropped a picture of the model glue in there.
Yeah, I hated that stuff because you just sit there, you're just holding things that's what you do for hours, and I hated it. I hated it.
When I did it, it was pretty quick. I mean, But anyway, I didn't remember it when I was doing it. It was the 60s and early 70s. So
yeah, the super glue zip kicker was like the jam. You'd get the parts like just a little dab, and then you hit it with the zip kicker and just boom, hit it, and it's stuck. It's done, and you're done. That's all you.
It's like a curing spray or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because when I would do it, it would. If you were not quick, it would stick your fingers together.
The problem with the tubes, right? Versus the super glue. Super glue can be sanded and carved, and you can actually fill minor holes with super glue. Versus that stuff was always goopy. It sucked to sand. It sucked to paint. Pain in the ass.
It's funny you mentioned that because when I make my custom pens, I do the wood pens, and the clear coat I use in those pens is like 4 or 5 coats of super glue that I then sand down to like 12,000 grit to get super shiny, and it gives us a really good.
So you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, absolutely. When I was building tons of Warhammer miniatures, it was all super glue and zip kicker, man. Just boom, 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 just hammering them out. Warhammer. We'll do that live. We'll figure out how to do ham radio and Warhammer one night.
Yeah, get the box.
What is Scott's new channel?
Scott, post your channel. It's a cooking channel, everybody. Ham radio friendly cooking channel. Let's go.
It's called The Fear of Cooking. I'll drop the link here in the chat here. One second.
Yeah. Just based on what's being posted in the chat, the Radio Berry is a Raspberry Pi, a Hermes Light that was built onto a Pi hat. But the problem with it was that the filter boards, there was supposed to be a guy that released a filter board so that you could transmit with it. I never saw and have never seen any filter boards for it. So as far as like the Hermes, and the Hermes can be an amazing receiver and SDR. So if you just use it for receiving, then that Pi hat or the Raspberry or Radio Berry is a wonderful thing. Put it on top of a Pi, and man, the SDR out of that is amazing.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it takes the same firmware as the Hermes, and the Hermes you can actually put one of the gateware FPGA loads that you can put on a Hermes will give you 11 slices, so you can literally monitor 11 different things at one time, 11 different bands. Tom's done it.
Really? Okay. Oh.
Yeah. I'm telling you, amazing radio, man.
Okay. Any other questions in the chat? Anybody in there that's been waiting to ask a question?
I got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
The capacitor on the in-fed half-wave antenna. What is everybody using?
It depends. They vary a lot.
Mm-hmm. Are you running 100 watts?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna make them for.
I think it's 100 picofarads, I think.
You're getting the expensive ones then.
Well, I mean, it's
the caps.
Yeah.
The capacitors aren't expensive, right?
Tuning capacitors.
Yes. Yeah.
Like a good tuning capacitor for a mag loop they can be expensive.
Mag loop? Well, I thought he said infed.
No, infed.
Oh,
little bitty.
I'm like, where did you come up with expensive?
sorry, that's my bad. You build it, man. You just get yourself a toroid and wire it up. Otherwise, you can. If you want a good one, go to.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about the little cap that you put
the cap
between the driven element and the ground.
Oh, yeah, that's just a ceramic picofarad cap. Yeah, sorry, Don, you were right on there. I don't know what I'm thinking about Warhammer 40K in my head. Apparently,
most people are using like a 3000 kV.
100.
Yeah,
100.
It's
100, right?
It's 100, 150.
100 picofarad.
Yeah, but
like
3000 is about right. Yeah.
So
why is that? Why are they using the 3000?
Because of the amount of energy that. So you're about 2,000 off when it comes down the line, and that's bleeding some of it off.
Well, which it's on the other side of the transformer. So is that not transforming it down? Shouldn't it be 50 ohms?
It's compensation for high frequency.
Yep.
So I'm just trying to figure out.
On 28 megs, you need to compensate for lack of capacitance. So you're doing that.
Yeah, I get what it's doing, but they're using a 3,000 volt or kilovolt, whatever.
There's an enormous amount of voltage on that end.
Not on that side of the transformer. There's not, is there? Isn't it transformer?
That's why do you think those transformers get so hot? There's an enormous voltage on that end.
What are we arguing about?
On the end of it.
Yeah, on the transformer end. On a transformer end of we're not arguing, we're discussing. It's different.
Okay.
On the transformer end, there's an enormous voltage.
Is that transformer not transforming the voltage?
No, it's current.
So the question was, where do you buy them? So you buy them on Amazon, and you can't buy just one because they're like less than a penny for a ceramic capacitor.
Yeah.
So you buy like the combo pack on Amazon for like $7, and then you're good. But to your question, did you get the answer to it?
Well, I was just trying to figure out why they're using the higher voltage ones when I would think that the transformer is transforming it down to where you don't need the higher voltage.
It's transforming impedance, not voltage. It's still 2,000. It's still plus 20,000 volts or whatever they say it is. It's changing the impedance of it, not the voltage.
Okay, well, that's what I was wondering. I just assumed it was changing the voltage.
Nope. Because it's a current transformer, isn't it?
Okay. All right. All right. Anybody else in there with a question?
I got an unrelated question.
Unrelated. Go wild card line. Go ahead.
Well, and it may be more towards Don too. I think I've talked to Don before. I've got this new 991A, and maybe me and him could message separately or in another place. But I'm trying to get it set up on FT8. I've got it transmitting and receiving.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't seem right though. There's like no frequencies up above like 1700.
Oh, that's your filter size.
Yeah, roof filter.
Yeah.
I've got it set at 3000.
There may be other filters in there, by the way.
What other filters in there?
Well, see, the thing is, like on my 101D, if I set it to 3000, that's fine. But if I've got the roofing filter set to 500, it's only 500 no matter
what. The 991 does not have a roofing filter.
I don't know. I don't know that it doesn't have additional filters in
it does not.
In that deep menu. Right?
In the deep F menu. Yeah.
Yes.
No. If the 991 had a roofing filter, oh my God, that thing would be way more popular than it should be.
It does have a roofing filter, 13 kilohertz.
Yeah,
just the standard one.
Yeah, okay.
It has one.
It has one.
One.
It has one.
Not a discrete roofing filter. No, you can't select it below the.
Thank
but
you,
it's like
Mike.
the maximum bandwidth is
The maximum
X filter.
bandwidth.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, Mike. Thank you.
No, what I would do is there are two people I would direct you to. One of them is Ham Radio Dude because he just got his, and he is using his on 2-meter FT8 a lot right now, and so he's got his 991 all set up for it. And then the other one would be Chuck KK6USY because I don't have a 991. I have the FTDX series, and then I skip everything below that down to the 857 and 891, etc. So I just don't have one with any one of like what your the 991 generation with a USB sound card in it.
What's he asking? I missed it.
He's asking he's getting only a few hundred hertz out of his FT8 when he's got the filter set or the filter width set to 3000.
I think I just figured.
Okay, there's two places.
Okay.
Yeah, I went into the deep menu and found number 64, number 65, and shifted them up 1500 hertz, and now I'm seeing signals all the way up to about 3,000.
See, wait. Which radio is this? Which radio?
991.
Oh, so the 891, the WDH is width or something like that. WTH or something like that. The width, you have to open that up all the way. I don't know if the 991 is the same. Yaesu's crazy sometimes with their menu systems.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the width.
Yeah,
I don't know what this is. Number 64 says other DISP, and in parentheses has single sideband, and then 65 says other shift, and in parentheses single sideband.
Perfect.
And I remember reading something where somebody said set those to 1500, and
not confusing at all. Yep. So there you go.
In the M list, there's a narrow and a wide setting, and then there's a width setting.
Yes.
And make sure both those are on like 3 and 3200.
The other thing is different. I've had a 7300 for 2 years, so I'm used to it, and it's really simple. But the 991A here, also too, the receive is really hot compared to the 7300, and just adjusting down the volume setting in Windows does not fix it. You got to turn the RF gain down, or it is just overdriving.
Really?
You're not running your compressor, are you?
No, he's talking about the receive.
I'm talking about receive.
Oh, okay.
On the 991?
Yeah. You go in and a dead signal, so I go to a dummy load, and then I go into Windows sound menu and pull up the USB for the mic on it, and I pull it volume down till it gets to 30 dB of gain, receive, and then switch over to the actual signals, and it's so distorted and so loud and overdriving, it doesn't even sound like FT8. So I still had to grab the RF gain and turn it down.
Oh, do you have the DNR on?
I do not.
Okay, I was gonna say when I turn on the DNR, it'll like blow everything out.
Yeah, aren't you supposed to turn the ADC off and then just turn the volume down?
It's just so
yeah.
many
There's all
things
kinds
you
of
have to
stuff
do.
you got to turn off on that 991. Just turn everything you can on that M list off.
All the radios are like this though. Like every radio, every time I want to go from like digital to voice, voice to CW, it's like, well, have you rebuilt the carburetor yet? Because that's the first thing you got to do to like get to digital mode.
Have you tried turning it on and off?
Right. Yeah, it's like, geez, man, I got to re-crank the alternator to get to do single sideband clear versus it.
There's a data gain setting in there too in that stupid menu.
Yeah.
That's what's really nice about the 7300 is they literally have a hot swap button for like FT8.
Well, now that's new though. I mean, new in the conventional sense. Like 705, 7300 has like you could click a button and it switches all the goddamn shit over because it just is ridiculous. And Yaesu is the worst at it. Yaesu is the worst at it. Yaesu has some crazy deep menus. The fact that like you have to go into the deep F menu to go and assign it to digital U or digital L for lower or upper sideband, because otherwise it's going to default to RTTY. It's like, it's crazy.
Hey, I got a question on that.
Yeah.
I never run the digital sideband. I just run it in regular sideband.
Oh, well, that's half your problem. You gotta pipe that out the back, because if you don't run it in digital mode, how does the 991 know to use the USB port?
I've got a USB. And
mine does the same thing, though. I just put it in USB, and it works just fine.
I don't have to change anything. Yes. I don't have to change anything to swap back, and I can pick up the microphone and start talking to people on side.
Yes,
that's nuts. That's nuts. That's nuts. Mm-hmm. What's the point? What's the point of having a digital mode?
It turns the filters off. That's what the digital mode
does. It turns the filters off. Okay, cheers. Cheers.
Mine does not.
Oh.
Why?
My 101 sure does.
Yeah, so does the 891.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like on mine, it's in digital upper sideband right now, and if I click out of that, it switches everything back to my regular single sideband.
Yeah, that's what's crazy about the 101D. If I go in and all I got to do is fire up WSJTX and then tell it to switch to 7074, for instance. I mean, boom, it's immediately set for FT8 DigiU. All the filters are off. It's just like, I have no idea actually how that's happening, because I didn't set the radio up. But it's like it just does everything for you.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But
I don't know what to say.
I wouldn't get the signals coming all the way across the waterfall, and I was like, something's not right there. And the other thing is, like right now, I've got the RF gain down below half.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and I'm getting hot signals now. I set it at 30 dB in a dummy load.
Mm-hmm.
Flip it over, and the little receive meter over there is pegging out at 80 and turning red.
On a dummy load?
No, on the actual antenna.
Okay.
Dummy load is at 30 dB, like what the whatever it's called tells you to set it at.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's just the receive on this thing is way, way hotter than my 7300. I don't know.
A preamble or something.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers to the 991, the most capable radio that is confusing to use at every moment.
Menu 73, data out level.
Yeah,
only 73 menus. That's great.
The FTDX.
Oh, that's the beginning of the menus.
The FTDX series does not have that issue.
Yeah, but you ain't got the VHF UHF, which all the kids want these days.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's. It is, transverters. That's what you got to do there.
Haven't you heard, Josh? SSB's the word, man.
I think so. I think so.
I have a better, more capable 9700 than the 9700, right, sitting right behind me.
What about the 705 or the 905?
Say the F word.
The 905, Don.
The 905?
Are you going to buy the 905, Don?
No,
Are you gonna buy it?
no.
No?
No,
No, I'm not. I mean, who's there to talk to on 10 gigahertz?
For me,
5.6.
For me,
yeah.
Gordo.
Yeah, that's right.
And Gordo.
If you're in California, I'd say go for it, but here in Texas, no.
I'm gonna point.
Josh, you could get him to beam straight into you on the Wednesday nights on straight over 10 gigs.
That's
sorted.
it. That's it.
Video and all.
That's it.
10 gig club.
I'd be honest with you. If I can't sit here, pick up a radio and key it down, and from my antenna be able to get to Rob in the UK, I'm not that interested.
Yeah, okay. So
I'll bet the farm that you buy
different radio strokes for different radio folks,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I mean, it's just a different hobby, right? In that sense, it's almost like it is wireless. Like we are of the same brotherhood, fraternity, family, etc. But they are vastly different. They are vastly different.
Mm-hmm. I'm just like there's the ham radio is literally a hobby of hobbies.
Right.
And honestly, I don't know that any of us could ever get into everything, which is a good thing.
But damn it, I'll try.
Well, basically, what's happened is he hasn't performed the correct prescribed rituals handed down by the Adeptus Mechanicus to get the radio.
Oh, Adeptus Mechanicus! Yes, a proper.
You haven't made a sacrifice to the Messiah yet.
I think we have a tech heretic on our hands.
Yes,
we have to make a sacrifice to the
kill the heretic. Kill the heretic. That's right. We got to make an offering to the machine god. Quick.
Yeah, when are we going to get decent SDR handhelds?
Oh man, I don't know.
I thought that's what Baofeng's before.
They're not even as good as super hats, right?
Well, you know, hey, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, well, they overload so bad. Like that was a fun. By the way, this is also time for me to drop little secrets of when I'm going to put out new videos. So Monday or Tuesday this week, I will be dropping, the park videos I've been doing with antennas, right? Right? You can go to a park, you swap antennas. Well,
Those are good.
Well, yeah, but what if you just use the same antenna, but you swap the radio?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So what if I took a whole bushel of Baofangs out into the park and did a test against all the Baofangs that I own?
Oh, I think you should do that.
I did it. It's already done. I got to edit it. That's all I have to do.
But you should compare it against the 705.
Well, eventually we'll start adding more expensive radios to it, because I included the VX6, the Yaesu VX6, which I've been somewhat in some kind of relationship with. I don't think that I love it, but it's definitely there. The problem that I have with that radio, it's super small. It does all the things I want. It's tri-band. It's small. It's water resistant, but the thing can't stand up. It's like it's drunk all the time. Like it will not stand up on its own power, and I can't have that. I hate that. I hate an HT when I set it down, and I'm very confident. Like I put it down on a table, and I'm not shaking it. It's not wobbling. It's like stop, and I let it go, and then it goes like slowly timbers backwards. They literally, on the battery catch, they literally molded in a little nub just to keep it standing, because they knew it can't stand up on its own power. Like if you make a radio that can't stand up on its own, that bothers me. I'm very.
Yeah, my FD70 is a bit wobbly, I must admit.
Yeah, I don't like wobbly radios. Even a damn Baofeng with the extendo battery on it will stand up. So it's like it's got to stand up. That pisses me off. I don't know. I'm unrealistically upset about that aspect of that radio. On all other fronts, it's fantastic.
Do you own any Wushans at all?
Oh yeah. Well, I had the Wouxun Mate, which I gave away, and I did a giveaway for it. I have the Wouxun GMRS radio, which I really like. I think I have a couple of other ones too. I generally like them. They're really solid. They're really solid radios.
Yeah, I think I would rather buy one of those than a Baofeng any day. I really love those radios.
Yeah, but it's like $100. It's like $150. $150 up to like $200 something versus $50, $30, $40.
I understand, but
hey, Josh.
Well, wait. So before I go to the next question, Don, did you see my video on the cheap handhelds? The sub $100 cheap handhelds.
From way back, yes.
Like 2 weeks ago. Like a week or two ago.
I guess I've missed that one.
So the Alinco that I reviewed, the DX VX50 or something like that, it is a dual band radio with a dual band screen. It does FM radio and will also receive airband. All of the things. Like it's under $100. It's a very good handheld. Very good handheld.
Yeah, their clone of the Anytone is really good as well.
Right.
I like a Alinco. I have a Alinco DJ 580. That's my first ever bought dual band radio. And it does satellite, by the way. It's full duplex on
receive?
bands.
On receive? Wow.
Yes. It's one of the handhelds like the 72 that will do satellite, but unfortunately they're extremely old and very rare. But I mean, I bought mine brand new, and I didn't know that, so I've just always had it.
Okay, right on.
Yep.
All right, so is somebody in there with a question? Go for it.
Yeah, you mentioned the VX6R. Is that your golden HT now?
No, not my golden HT, but I definitely like it. I use it for a lot of things. It's the like, how do I put this? I feel like there are 3 tiers of HTs. There's like everything sub $100, which is generally direct conversion, Baofeng-ish radios. And then you have super heterodyne, and super heterodyne gets you like FT60 territory. The VX6 is of that ilk, and the VX60 is just a straight upgrade to the FT60. It is water resistant, it is smaller, it's tri-band, relatively easy to use. I enjoy using it. By and large, fantastic radio. And then you go into the high end of handhelds. And that's when you get your ID52s and your FT5s and all that. And both of those are generally what I gravitate towards most of the time when I'm like out and about. But the VX6 is a great radio. It's a fantastic radio for the price point.
I don't have a tri-band. That's why I was asking. I may have to get one.
For tri-band, much like all tri-bands, like, well, yeah, it's 5 watts all the time, but then your tri-band, it's like 2 watts or
1.5.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're working on harmonics here, so you get in the neighborhood. I don't know how efficient it is on 220, but
I don't have anything in that mid range, right? I got a bunch of Baofengs and then FT3s, and I don't have anything in the mid range, so it'd be nice to add one with the tri-band.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's waterproof.
It's waterproof, and I literally have tested it in a pool. Like I dropped it like 3 feet down, swam down, picked it up with a GoPro, and did a whole thing. So it's like it legit is waterproof. Yeah.
Yeah, R&L has that DJ VX50T for $99.89, and you get a free hat.
A hat?
Yes. An R&L hat, but a hat.
R&L's new hats are actually kind of nice. Their older hats were not very nice.
Mr. Hat.
They have like the air-conditioned trucker hats now.
Well, the Xiegu FT65R is $88.89, and it comes with a Xiegu hat.
Which one?
The FT65R. Is that
no, the hat. Which
the same one they give out at all the Hamfests.
The black one or the blue one?
Black one.
Oh, okay.
They give them at the Hamfest in America.
They do. Didn't Rob bring you one?
He did. But we don't get them over here.
What are you complaining about then?
We are the poor. I'm just saying, we're the poor relations over here. Unless you have a good buddy who goes to America and gets you one.
You need to wear
for a good buddy.
You need to wear those into MLNS.
Oh yeah, they yeah. There you go.
If they have their Sunday barbecue thing that they used to have, I'm going to try and go.
But nice guy. The best bit was that the guy recognised my voice and said, "You bought something off us recently, didn't you?"
They have some fantastic videos, though. Their 101 Delta
MLNS. I have literally talked to people at HRO and said, "Do you see what MLNS is doing? Do that on YouTube."
Yeah.
Why are
I've
you
been
not
saying
doing
that for years? In fact, in my video, I suggested it.
I love the personalities.
We are blessed with some really good dealers. You know, they're all good. Nevada, Waters and Stanton, MLNS,
Waters and Stanton. Yep.
Radio World. They're all really good.
Yep.
Yeah, Waters and Stanton does some, or what is it, Peter Waters, I think? Or,
yep.
Yeah, he does some great videos.
So here's the real reality of all of it is that, like, a lot of people that work at these different companies, they don't want to be on camera. They don't really want to be the personality. They just want to sell stuff. On MLNS and Waters and Stanton, like, those are people who actually, like, they enjoy that aspect of it, getting on camera and doing all that stuff. You know, that's what separates them. Like, you're not really going to make HRO want to get, you know, onto video. Julian's out there, but he doesn't do the same type of things that the other guys do. It's just it's just different. It's just different.
Katie, I think they were hoping that she would do it, but
Katie's
she's
out.
not there. Yeah,
No.
exactly.
Julian
She
Julian
left.
replaced her.
Yeah,
But I think Katie got
I
busy with other things going on.
I think she took another job actually, and I think it was one where she travels a lot less than she used to. But I don't know. I mean, for sure.
Yeah. Maybe.
No, I reckon Ross from bloody Strictly Ham should start making some videos. Maybe he'll start selling something that isn't bloody coax that's overpriced.
Steve.
Dobro večera.
Is it Messi and Palomi coax, or is it good coax?
It's the kind. The thing is, he's got the coax that the bloody in thing pulls out when you try to strip the stuff, but he's also got the good coax. So, but he tries to sell you the crap stuff.
Okay, all right.
More margin on it.
Indeed. More metal, more margin. All right, what are we doing here?
So, did Magnus the Red do anything wrong?
Did Magnus the Red do anything wrong?
That's debatable.
I don't know enough about. I like Joey's hat. Oh, my boy is here. Happy birthday, son.
New watch?
Oh, new watch. He got a new watch for his birthday.
Wow.
Guess what this is?
Did
It's
his
a fishing
mom get
tackle
it off
box.
of Wish?
No, I think it's from Grammy. Grammy and Grammy. Oh my God! Wow, that's a cool little tackle. Hold on, let me hold this up. We're going fishing tomorrow, and apparently Grammy and Grampy loaded him up with
Josh, have you heard of a podcast called Adeptus Ridiculous?
No.
Yeah, go check that out for Warhammer. It's great.
Oh, I will. Okay, take that inside. There you go. I'll help you out in a little bit. Take your
They
box.
basically talk about all the like factions and everything in like easy to understand detail.
It's very easy to understand. You just have to listen to or read thousands and hours of books. That's all you have to do, and it's very easy to understand.
No, yeah, it's basically
Close
the
the door.
40K Cliff Notes.
Okay.
I think one of my favourite moments was, have you read Valdor, Birth of the Imperium?
No, I'm mainly a traditional Horus Heresy guy.
Yeah, this one. This might be up your street because it's at the end of the Unity Wars, and I won't spoil it, but it has a really good exchange between Constantine Valdor and one of the last Thunder Warriors, and it's hilarious.
Oh, that's pre-Primarch.
Pre Great Crusade.
Okay.
Do you play Horus Heresy?
No, I generally pay traditional 40K.
Okay. So what do you run? What do you run? Just curious.
Tau, Sisters, and Goblin or Orcs.
Oh, I made a Deathcore army.
I don't have a Marine army other than Sisters, but Sisters was a wholly different game. Anyway, let's go back to Mike. I don't want to get into it. I'll go down a rabbit hole. Just go ahead.
Oh yeah.
Or is it Rob? Mike or Rob? No, it's Rob. Was it Rob?
Always Rob. Yeah.
They're all the same.
No, they're not.
Wow.
Go ahead, Rob.
Oh no! I was just sort of being a little facetious. Carry on, then we can get back on topic.
Yeah, I can go down a rabbit hole.
It says, "What about them ham radios?"
That's what it says. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Anybody else in there with questions? Any questions related to the live stream today, or just any questions related to your ham radio journey? Let's help you out. Get you going where you need to go. Oh, I love it. Nobody has any questions, so we can just.
Hey, Josh.
Oh, damn! Too fast. Okay, go ahead with the question.
I just wanted to mention to you, we just picked up a local trans plant from California here in town, and he's a ham radio operator.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is he all right? Is he cool?
I ain't got to meet him yet. His dad was helping him move in, and he just got on our local repeater, and I was listening, and yeah, he's moving in town here. I can't remember his call.
I'm joining the repeater. Like, how do I get the organic foods? Like, where do I get the organic vegetables where you're at? Like, is there a farmer's market on a Saturday? That's what I'm really looking for.
Well, he moved in the right place if he likes wholesome foods.
Good, yeah, good.
They grow it and sell it on the back of their little pickup trucks in the Walmart parking lot.
Very good. Well, you come back and let us know if you talk to him. Right on. All right. Anybody else in there with a question? Go for it.
So, like, around town, a lot of people discard these bloody vapes, right? They're these little disposable things.
Yeah.
Now, my idea is I want to cut the bloody things in half and pull the batteries out and see if I can get enough in series to run a ham radio QRP. The issue is, would that be considered a bomb with the quality of those batteries?
Yeah, so good question, Steve. My wife is going through this problem, and she's got all these stupid elf pods or something like that, and the caps come off them. You can just pull them off. And yeah, they're actually useful batteries, and they have a USB-C charging adapter directly on them. The problem is, if you want to gang them up, how are you going to charge them all in series? That's the problem I've had. So yeah, they could be usable for ham radio. The problem is, how do you charge them all in series? I haven't figured that out yet. I haven't really looked either, but that's the curiosity I have.
Well, one thing I've noticed about them is they run at, I think, between 3.3 and 3 point something or other volts.
Right.
Which pretty much means that you might be able to get a BMS for that. The issue is if you get a BMS for 18650s, it might think, "Oh, I could put a lot of power into here in current-wise," and then I don't have a garage anymore.
Right. That's a concern I have. Was somebody going to say something about the batteries?
Well, I would just say put them in a 4S would be perfect on the voltage, but yeah, you want to get a BMS that's not throwing 60 amps into them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want the bloody Australian bloody explosive investigation unit in the backyard.
Yeah, I think I have like 10 of those damn things that I have got to do something with, and I don't know what to do with them yet. I can gang them all up, but then do what with them? Like, what BMS are you putting on them?
For, extra power pack for Baofeng or something. You wouldn't want to plug a $700 ICOM into that, right?
No, but I mean, if you had a proper BMS, that's true. You could run it off that, but then you'd literally be separating the cells, right? You'd have to solder all the leads for the separate cells to be able to, appropriately load it. Yeah.
And I mean, the reason I'm thinking of doing this is I'm not going to be running anything fancy off it, just a bit X40. So I don't really care if it goes explodey.
When the bit X40 goes explodey. Okay, got it.
Yeah, but that bit X14 comes from VK2YE. That's like that should be a wholly Australian radio icon.
It's a holy relic of Australian radio. Yeah.
No, he's a bloody legend. When I had my lightning strike, he just sent it to me in the mail. But the thing is, he sent it to me wrapped in newspapers and rubbish bags, so I thought someone had sent me a bomb or something in the mail. There was nothing until I got to the radio and a note.
I love it. Yeah, what did the note say?
Oh, I sent it to you a while ago, I think, actually.
Did you? I missed that.
I probably DM'd it to you or something.
Did you? Okay, I'll go back and look. But right on. All right. Anybody else in there with questions, comments, anything? Let's go for it.
It's not really that pertinent to anything, but I've been using my 857D to learn Morse code. It's got a nice little Morse code or CW trainer, it's called, in the menu. It's actually not too bad.
In the 857D?
Yeah, it's what menu? Let me turn it on real quick.
Menu 8000. If you go under menu 8000.
19-7-4-3, option 7.
It's actually
Morse code trainer.
Menu 31.
Okay. And what does it do?
So you just push like the start thing, and you can set it to be only numbers only letters or also like whatever alphanumeric, and it'll spit out like 5
just
characters at you, and then I've just been trying to head copy those 5 characters. I usually get the first 2, but I've got it set for like 20 words per minute, so
that's cool.
It's hard to, I don't know, it's just something to do. I mean, it's easy, it's right there. It's easy to turn on and just practice.
I've never heard anyone mention that before, so that's really cool that it's in there. Because I don't think a lot of other radios have that. So that's awesome.
Was it 2980 does the same?
Oh yeah, I don't know. I just like quirky little things that are in radios that don't get a lot of attention. So I just feel like I shine a little spotlight on it for its weirdness.
Well, Jamscan, I had a radio that played Earthworm Jim. Do you have that?
I have a radio that plays Minecraft.
What? What radio does that?
The SBitX.
Oh, because it's a Pi. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I want a radio that plays Conker's Bad Hair Day.
There you
go. A radio that does radio.
I have a radio that plays Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh. You know that, who was it? It was DankPods. You guys watch DankPods on YouTube? Everybody in Australia watches DankPods on YouTube, right, Steve?
Can confirm, yeah.
Can confirm, yeah. DankPods is like a man we must protect on YouTube. That man is, like, his YouTube channel is my favorite. But it wasn't until I was watching a lot of his videos, and I've literally watched every one of his videos, right? And so he starts talking about like high quality audio, and he does this whole headphone setup and all that, and plays this little jazzy beat. But then he starts talking about Earth, Wind, and Fire, and I'm like, you cannot tell me, as someone who grew up in Southern California, listening to Art LeBeau about Earth, Wind, and Fire, because it was played all the time, just all the time in Southern California, Earth, Wind, and Fire, and it wasn't until I actually got good headphones. Right, good headphones and an amplifier for my headphones, that I heard the guy on the bongos on Earth, Wind, and Fire, September. It does not come through on most speakers. Like, it does not exist in most audio platforms. And then all of a sudden you're like, if you can hear the bongo guy, you know that your headphones are like semi decent. That's kind of my my barrier of entry for headphones.
Hey, kind of changing the subject.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking at building these tiny antenna traps for the K6ARK antenna. Has anybody tried to run like more than 15 watts through that?
More than what? You were like chewing on something when you said that.
Yeah, I was totally eating a piece of pizza. Has anybody tried to run more than like 15 watts through those things?
I don't know. You have to ask Adam. I don't know. Or has anybody built those traps? The Adam traps?
Crickets.
Just slowly turn up the power until it starts smelling like bacon mixed with plastic.
Yeah, and you know to stop.
That's my motto.
Heck, just start it off at 11.
Right on. The other question I have is a networking question, so I can kind of hold off on that.
Who made that? It was Jody. Very good meme, Jody. Very good meme on the Xiegu menu. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? Very good. Very good.
I despise the Xiegu menus. That is why the only Xisus that I have are from the 70s and the 80s, because I couldn't stand the 857. It was awful. The menus, they did my head in.
For the record, the FTDX menus are not like that. That is a symptom of the FT series. I'm anxious to see if the FT710 does the same thing.
Yeah, but the FTDX10 has its own kind of weird, quirky menu too.
Yeah, it's the same as the 101 there, but at least most everything is there and presented as opposed to finger quotes the deep menus, right?
But that's the point, is that they went from the deep F to the everything all at once in your face.
Right.
They reflexively reacted to the opposite problem. It's the everything everywhere all at once example of menus, right? Like that's, by the way, a great movie, but yeah, bit of a mess.
The thing about the 101 though is that you just really don't even bother with the menus very often.
Yeah, you set the parametric up and you're done.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
And really, I don't.
Fantastic radio.
10. Yeah, the 10. The one thing about the 10 is the band switching. Other than that, I don't. To me, the 10 and the 7300, it's like exactly the same depth of menus.
Yeah, I am very anxious for Rob to get a 710 so that I can live vicariously through him.
I'm waiting for them to release the price.
You know, Jason's giving one away, right?
I did not.
He
know
is.
That.
Yeah, he is.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, we've all applied.
Yeah, all of the guys in the UK have applied because they want to see Jason pay more for shipping than or the radio.
It won't be that much.
No.
I want one of them ICOM hats, the bush hats. So you can't get them anywhere. I want one of them ICOM bush hats.
They're gone. Yeah.
Jason's got a box load of them.
Yeah, so Jason got those from me, and he held on to them and didn't give them away. So they're in his storage unit or something like that.
He gave me one.
Yeah,
but
well,
that was
I'll pay the postage. I just want a hat.
I gave all of mine away. They're all gone.
Because they were giving Pete caps over here, and I don't like.
You have to go to Jason because apparently he's hoarding them.
Every time you gave one of those away, Josh, I signed up because I wanted one so bad. I know what Mike's talking about, and I never won one from either you or Jason. But I was out at Support Your Parks,
right?
And I told Jason how much I wanted one. He goes, "I think I got one in the car."
Hey, there's a value to showing up. There's a value to physically showing up. It's true. It's true. That's where it's like, oh yeah, it's swag. Who cares? And then here you go, have it. Versus like people are, losing it online to get them. Yeah, no, I've had multiple people ask me like, hey, I want you to, can I pay you to ship it? And it's like, well, yeah, I mean I could, but the point of it is that it's a giveaway, and I want to, try and make it fair for everybody. And they're like, okay, I get it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry.
To be honest with you, I do not know why they don't sell them.
So
people would buy them.
Okay. So, all right. Can I? I'll explain what happened.
Sure.
So, the boonie hats and the lanterns and the QRP crew shirts, the green shirts, that was a byproduct of Hamvention that didn't happen in 2020. Right, so they were expecting to go to Hamvention, and they bought all this swag, and it didn't happen, and so they came to me and said, "What do we do with all this swag?" And I said, "Do you just want to get rid of it? Do you care? Like, what do you want to do?" I'm like, "We just want to get rid of it, but we want to get rid of it like appropriately to the right people." And I said, "Okay," so I took it to different events. I did giveaways, and I said, look, I can't get rid of all of this, but Jason can also get rid of some of this. And so they shipped the other half of it over to Jason, and he was the other person that had, the other supply of it. I blew mine all out. We gave it away on live streams, and we did, I did in-person stuff. I took it to events. So it's all gone. Apparently he still has some, though, so now it's vintage, I guess.
Well, what I'm getting at though is if you go to Flex Radio or Elecraft and you go online, you can not only buy radios from them, you can buy swag from them.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And ICOM should do that. So should Xiegu. Like, the Xiegu hats. I mean, we should be able to buy them, and then. They should ship them. I mean, even Alinko should do it. I mean, haven't I seen like swag from Baofeng, or was that somebody just made something?
No, I mean swag exists everywhere. They got swag all over the place. But yeah, I'm assuming that there's even the crazy rig expert people had the little thumbsticks. That was like the hot swag from Huntsville.
Or Elecraft should give like free hats away.
Yeah.
No, you can get a free hat. Yeah, you can get a free hat if you buy a
radio.
Buy a KX2 Shack in a Box. You get a free hat with that. With
or
that
a
sale.
K4.
Or a K4.
I'm
yeah.
actually I'm really looking at that KX2. I didn't realize how small it was until I actually saw it in person.
It's very small. Yeah.
Hey, Josh.
Mm-hmm.
One quick question.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Did you make a video that I could go look up on this paperwork we're supposed to fill out for the RF and our Shack stuff?
No, I didn't. Plus Rhea did, and the ARRL has a website you can just go to fill it out. It's really not to say Rhea didn't do a good job. She did a great job. You can go look at that video, and it explains a lot. But it's really not that hard. If you just pull up the ARRL website, you can have it printed out. I have it printed out right here on the Shack, and that's it. It's very easy. It's very easy.
What is it called that I look up there?
What is that?
RF exposure?
MPE, maximum permissible exposure.
Yeah, there. Yeah. And then look that. You can just Google that, and the ARRL will probably come up. But you could add ARRL to it, and then you get the web form.
Okay, and I'm just assuming based off of what it's being called, you would use what, like a field strength meter to determine if...
No, they determine it for you based off of distance from the antenna and what type of antenna it is.
Yeah, distance, frequency, and power.
Yep.
Oh, they determine it for you.
Yep.
Yeah, fun fact, that is so if you've ever been to like an NFL game or an NBA game or something where they have APs under the seats, like behind your feet, that is a huge thing right now with the FCC, that people are being overexposed to RF because there are APs right behind their feet. So it's pretty popular right now.
I dropped the link.
Dawn dropped it. There you go. Take a look at that.
Hey, Josh, I got a question for you.
Yeah, go for it, man.
You haven't talked much about the 905. Is that something that's in your wheelhouse? Are you interested in it?
I definitely will try it, but okay, so a lot of us grew up with like the Gordon West world, right? Where you read the book and you listen to the CD, and you start to get in the background of it, where it's like, oh no, yeah, Gordon West like goes out to a location just to make a contact. It's not POTA, it's not SOTA, it's like just to see what's capable, right? That's kind of what that radio is it's an entry level to high frequency radio. I think it's wild that ICOM is getting into it at just a consumer level. Like nobody's really playing in that place. So I will definitely review it, but I will probably have to coordinate something local to be able to talk to somebody. I do live in Southern California, so it's not impossible that I can't just put it up on a pole and point it in a direction and join the amateur TV net. That could be possible, but it's not digital amateur radio TV from what I understand. So I may have to play around with that a little bit. A lot more to come on that.
Well, it's also a normal radio. Everybody's freaking out about the high frequency side of that radio, but it's 2 meters and 70 as well.
Right.
It does have more use than just super high frequency.
The thing about that though, Mike, is get a 705 or get a 9700. If that's all you're going to do, if you want all those other things,
for sure.
Yeah. I'm like Josh. I don't see the point.
Yeah. But we don't know what the cost is yet.
Right.
And
I think it's going to be high.
I've seen a cost in Japan that was $900.
That doesn't include any of the transverters or anything, though. That's just the
no.
unit
That
itself.
includes all the transverters except for 10 gigs.
I can't imagine 900 American.
Yeah.
I can't
But
imagine.
I don't
seeing
think
that
it
for
was right. I
$900.
think it was someone speculating.
Yeah.
Because if it was $900,
Oh.
my God, they would never keep the thing in
Yeah.
stock.
No, they would
Yeah,
not.
no,
I'd buy
there-
two.
Yeah, there were websites where they opened it up and they put in a price of $999.99, and that was complete total bullshit.
Oh
The
yeah, it
reason
might
they
well
used
be.
that,
Like I said,
yeah.
it might well be that I just spotted it, but I wouldn't like to say it was true for 1 minute.
Yeah,
But I think you won't get any change out of $2,000, but that's my own thought on it.
You got it. That's exactly what I put my price point on, just $2,000. So, okay, everybody that does microwave, like if you ask Ham Radio DX and Gordo and all them, like how much money are they in on transverters and the radio to drive it and the antennas and all that stuff? That's a decent chunk of money. So ICOM's just saying, hey, we'll get you pretty much all the way there for a tidy sum. I'm assuming that is not going to be cheap. I don't think it's going to be cheap. All kitted up, I don't even know that the 10 gigs I would include in this is probably about $2,000. I would guess.
Yeah, 10 gigs is a whole other radio cost, I'm sure.
Yeah,
transverter and antenna.
Yeah, I don't understand. I in the video that I did with Ray, I didn't understand the omnidirectional, but I now get it because I'm thinking world view. That's for Japan market, right? Right. That's for close in comms. Out west, in California, we go line of sight, but we go line of sight over distance, and you can do a lot even at high frequencies.
Well, yeah, there are guys in California who get up on the Sierras and point at Hawaii.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah, sure, that's great. That's and in fact, I've heard them doing that at 300 gig, but it's like, okay, yeah, they set distance records and do stuff like that, but once the record's there, like, do I really need all that radio equipment to do something that I can't talk to?
Well, yeah,
how practical is it?
Right. So
Right.
I don't know. I mean, so one side of it, I was asking Ray. I'm like, so, what would you do? It's not full duplex. So what do you do if you want to do like a satellite? Because linear satellites are at 1.2 gigahertz, that kind of thing, right?
Buy two of them.
And no, he said, no, you don't buy two of them. You just take the 705 that you already own, and you do the VHF UHF downlink with
that you already own.
That you already own, and then you can do VHF UHF downlink on that. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. So I don't know, man. We're entering a weird time in ham radio where ICOM has almost become Kenwood, which is crazy. The fact that ICOM is doing something like this is very Kenwood of them. Like, does everybody get that? Like, when I say that, do you know what that means? Like, that's what it feels like, right? Does it? Nobody?
Well,
Nobody?
What I would suggest is get Hayden on and have him talk it up, because I honestly don't see any reason for it at all, and I know he does it a lot, so he probably
because he goes out there. He goes out there and does it, right?
Well, and he lives in a place where it makes sense because they're talking to New Zealand and they're talking to mainland VK. So I see where he finds that fun. But for me in Texas, I'm not going to be doing that.
You could.
I don't have the mountains, and I don't have.
Well, you don't need to, because the radio transmitter's in the box that you put on the top of the mast.
No, to get the kind of distance they're talking over.
Okay, sure, but like
you could do TV as well. You could do TV and investigate full bandwidth digital signals.
We have amateur TV here, but it's over 440.
You don't do 440. You'd run out of bandwidth.
They don't transmit at that high level that they run out of bandwidth. That's the thing. I mean, it's not broadcast quality.
You've got 20 megs of 440, haven't you? That's why.
Yeah.
Now, we've only got 10 megs here, and if you do two TV channels, you wipe out all the bandwidth for everyone.
Oh, there's only one channel here.
Yeah, see, where I used to live in Bristol, we've got the most complicated 23 cents repeater outside of Japan. And that thing was spectacular, even in the 90s. So that's what you do with it.
Hey, Josh, quick question. Have you ever? Well, actually, I have two, and they're related to the 705. The first is, have you ever used the mag loop that ICOM is marketing for the 705? And the second one is, and I know the other hams in the Discord have heard me ask this question, but you own both of them. I'm on a student budget. Should I save up for the 705 or go for the X6100 and eventually get the 705? That's it.
Those are two different radios.
Okay, so the alpha, is that the alpha loop? The alpha loop?
Yeah, I think it's the alpha loop. Yeah.
What was this last week where we were talking about loop antennas? Generally, loop antennas are not the way to go. Like, I know Minolta, you're like in a dorm, and so you have to work with what you have, and so a loop antenna may be your only option. So in that case, sure. I have not tested the alpha loop. I've not tested the ICOM alpha loop. Nobody offered it to me. I didn't test it. I have tested the chameleons though, and they work as advertised. Are they good? Not incredibly, but that's kind of the point of them. Okay.
I thought you had a 7300 anyway, Mano.
Do you have a 7300?
Yeah, I have a 7300 since I got my extra class.
So why do you want all this other stuff?
Because I can't. Since I moved into a studio, I don't have the space to throw up an antenna, so I'm just doing QRP.
Yeah, but the 7300 it can be QRP. You just lower the power output.
Yeah. And you don't need to spend all that much money. You're going to spend more on the 7300 on the 705 than the 7300.
Oh, for sure.
You've already got it.
Yeah.
You've already got it. So you don't need another radio.
I sent you a link, Minolta, on all the loops.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out.
So yeah, straight up, don't go buy a new radio. Go get your antenna situation sorted out. Get a good antenna.
He wants to go outside and do it, Josh, and he doesn't really want to cart. It's a 7300 up a mountain.
How far are you going, Minolta? Where are you going?
So my girlfriend and I hike like the Adirondacks, and we do canoe camping and stuff.
Oh crap! Okay, like literally, yeah.
Yeah, then get a KX2.
Twice as expensive as a 705.
Yeah, the KX2.
No, KX2 is the same price. Same price.
Yeah, but they're crap.
What? KX2?
Yeah, they're not modern. It's stuff from old fogey land.
KX2 and Elecraft KX2?
Yes, pants.
Wow.
I'm only kidding.
Well, do you want me to throw something at him?
See, I got you that.
Go ahead, Gerard.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah, man. Okay. So.
Hang on. Wait for this to go.
Rob's literally reaching over across the room to slap Mike right now.
He just threw a bottle at me.
Yeah. Okay, so I agree with Mike on one thing, that the KX2 is not like a very good digital radio. Like, there's all kinds of cables everywhere to make it work. Sure. Okay, sure. Mm-hmm. But what? No, right now. What are you doing? Oh, Leia has incense. No, I'm good. Thank you. They're burning incense on the altar apparently right now, and I'm not joining them. Okay, so KX2 is probably the highest speed, low drag, single sideband CW in digital you can do. The problem with digital is you got a lot of extra crap hanging off of it. The 6100 though, I think you said, Minolta, is like, it'll do all of that, but it's kind of like fiddling around all the time. And it's not a very good receiver in comparison to the 705 or the KX2. The 705 is the biggest boy. It's the biggest boy in the list, but it's also like does all the things very easily. Mm-hmm. And it does VHF, UHF. So that's all the radios in one box kind of thing. For going portable, so that may be good. I don't know, man.
I know. Let's tell him to get a G106.
No, wow. I wasn't going to say that.
I still would pick 705 even over KX2, even though KX2 is a great radio.
Yeah.
705 is all rounder.
Yeah, that's kind of my.
See, we've had this conversation over the last couple of weeks with Minolta, and we've sort of come to the conclusion the 705 is easy enough to explain, and none of us got a KX2 over here.
Oh,
So.
that's right. It is Minolta.
He's already got a
yes.
7300.
Yeah, he's already got a 7300. It's the same.
705
front end.
works exactly the same way. Everything, the menus are all the same.
Yeah,
so we don't have to spend a week.
I
no
forgot it was
disrespect to Minolta intended.
Yeah, I forgot it was Minolta that we're talking
Right.
about. Right.
But he's gonna be canoeing, so he won't be able to talk to anybody. He'll be canoeing out in the middle of nowhere with no signal.
Now he'll make her paddle.
Yeah, his girlfriend will have to tell him how to use the radio.
If you're actually like small bag hiking, like James Scan said in the chat, if you're small bag hiking, yeah, KX2's it's a smaller radio, right? It's a nice,
smaller.
Just jump on SSB or CW and go. But if you're wanting an all around, even with VHF, I think 705. For me, I carry it everywhere.
And if you really want to lighten your pack, you'll learn CW, and then you can go to mountain toppers and tiny baby radios and still be effective.
Well, the thing about the KX2 is it's got more power out than the 705, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't have an internal battery unless you put one of those weirdo things in.
Well, no, it does have an internal battery, but you can't charge it internally. You have to remove
take the battery out.
Yeah.
That's
my problem with it.
Wasn't there supposed to be a mod for that they were
they said that they said that
doing it?
Yeah, they said that, but I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, I did the same. I did that, or with my KX3, I took the batteries out and I use an external battery because it just works. I mean, it's light enough with the external battery.
Yeah, but then you're dragging extra crap.
I don't know. The little bitty tiny
the antenna, maybe a tiny tuner if possible, and just the radio itself.
Yeah, the bio-innos are just not that big, Josh. I mean, gosh. And if you're really worried about carrying extra crap, then why are you carrying the extra weight of the 705?
Even if you're taking a 3 amp hour bio-inno, you're now at the weight of a 705.
Right. Yeah, that's the point.
Boy, y'all, not my 705.
He started talking about antennas, and I'll just say I have that mag loop, the ICOM mag loop. Haven't used it yet, but I did want to mention that it's rated for 40 meters down to 10 meters. So you can't actually transmit on it now if you've got a technician license. Is that right?
He's
an extra. I can go on 10.
I'm an extra class operator.
Oh, okay. But it's not it's not a VHF, UHF antenna.
No. I don't think anybody...
just to be clear, the first time I did fire it up and tried to use it on a repeater, and then I checked the data again, and it's like, this isn't going to go out anyway. It's not that antenna. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
I do 2 meter FM on a Nebula, and it works fine. So it just depends on where your SWR is. It's low B. It's not going to be the best, but it'll work.
There you go.
DX Engineering has a kit that has the backpack and a paddle and the mag loop and the 705. That's kind of why I was asking.
You don't want to take if you want to go canoeing like hardcore backpacking, you're not getting that backpack out in the field. Come on.
No, I'm not doing that, but it's just nice to.
Well, don't buy don't waste more money on the backpack.
Well, I did that too, and I say the backpack is sized for the radio. So it's actually a little small. The backpack is a small backpack.
It's very small.
Because so is the radio. So if I had it to do again, I would skip the backpack and just put it in a bigger backpack if you want one.
Yeah.
But
everybody I know
of the radio, which is small.
Everybody I know that's gotten that backpack has replaced it. It's a nice... If the 705 isn't bougie enough already, that backpack is just bougie on top of that. And you can find any camera bag on Amazon that has the interchangeable Velcro parts in them that the 705 will fit in just fine for a quarter or less of the price.
I brought my 705
and what's nice
in a $20 Amazon camera bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what is attractive is it does
Bougie,
it
like
is
I
all
said.
fitted and everything, and Josh, you showed a little trunk lip mount for it, which I rigged mine up for that too. But yeah, it's got a nice little Velcro. You can run the cables around. But you know what? You can get a backpack and punch a hole in it too and run a cable through there. So yeah, I would say skip the backpack. And if you want a backpack, go shopping for backpacks.
Spend the money on a dry bag
One sort
backpack.
of luxury purchase of the 705 that is kind of worth it is the A8 705 tuner. I've got that. And
It's very good.
Such a good tuner. That would tune up.
It is very good.
Josh, did you see that backpack Gigaparts had at Huntsville?
Yeah, I didn't get enough of a look at it. I don't think I have enough background on it to talk about.
Jason was telling me that one of the first pouches they're working on is for the 705 with that.
Yeah, sure.
It
was Ham Radio Adventure guy they worked with on that, right? Is that the?
Yeah, he put it on his channel, but yeah.
Would a 705 fit in a 20 or 40 liter with room to spare? 20 or 40 liter backpack?
Yeah, no
about
problem.
the same size as a loaf of bread.
Okay.
A small loaf. A small loaf.
Not a sort of huge thing, but the average sort of everyday job.
Oh, I don't know about
the 705, a 20 amp hour battery, the AH 705 or whatever it's called, and roll up antennas all fit in one of them medium hard cases from Harbor Freight, one of the fake Pelicans.
The Apache case.
If you want to make it cheap,
there you go.
There is a nice.
That all fits in one of those really nice.
Well, okay.
If he wants to do cheap QRP, you should do the Chew SDX.
Well, I think he wants good audio quality on single sideband. I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so here's my 705. And this little toppy part is just padding. But it's literally just this. This is it. And it's got the mic, a key, and the audio interface USB cable. And it's just a hydration pouch. Who makes this? Oh, that was the padding. The padding is gone. As you can see, the radio is just shoved into there. That's all it is. And that's how I've ran this from the day I got it. It was just a hydration pouch I shoved it into.
Man, how far behind are you?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna do the cage and all that stuff. Those guys are like Dave Canterbury when I went when I went to do that talk on emergency comms, and he was like, "Oh yeah, use my 705," and I'm like, "Okay." And he hands me an ammo crate, and I'm like, "What am I supposed to do with this?" He's like, "Oh, the 705's in there," and then I open it up, and the 705 fits snugly all around this ammo crate, like a 50 cal ammo crate, or not 50 cal, 30 cal ammo crate, and I'm like, well, we've defeated the purpose of it being a QRP radio. We've made it the size of a big ass radio at this point by enclosing it in all this metal and stuff. Just put it in a bag with padding, and you're fine. It's fine. It's all good.
Well,
it's all good. It's right here.
The only thing I will say about that is when you don't include all that stuff, then the damn thing rocks back and forth and falls over on its face because it doesn't have, just like you were saying a minute ago about how janky the HTs are. That is one of the most janky radios for sitting on something that there is without one of those little.
I got one of those little tiny camera tripods, and that screws right at the bottom.
But hear me out. More crap. That's more crap to carry.
Yeah, but it doesn't weigh nothing.
By the way, I use a Z mount, and I think those work a hell of a lot better than those stupid.
But hear me out. Hear me out. We watch guys go out into the field. They're CW only guys, and they got tiny little radios. And these things are flopping all over because the coax cable's thick enough that it actually makes the radio flip over, and they're literally holding the key in the left hand and working the key in the right hand. Like, they make this all work, and it's just chaos. It's total chaos. Wires everywhere and headphone jacks, all that stuff, with this little tiny little thing that's flopping all over the place. We don't have to look at the screen all the time. You just get it to the frequency you're on, and then you start transmitting. Like, what?
Yeah, but you're going to set it down somewhere.
Yeah, set it flat. Or lay it. I just lay it.
It doesn't
I
have
lay
a
it
flat part.
It's got flat parts all over it. What do you mean?
It falls over on me. I mean, when you set
but
it down,
but
it
that's the
leans
point.
back. What?
Falls over to what? Like, what do you need to see? You've already tuned it. You're good.
I've had it fall over onto the screen, like on its
Oh,
face.
I've never had that happen. I've never had that happen.
It's rolled over on me a couple of times. Now,
Do you have a POV cage on it, Don?
No. Well, I mean, I do right now, but I mean, when I when I first got it, no, I didn't.
Okay.
And I will say though that one of the easiest ways to mount the damn thing is put one of those Z mounts on there, because that thing will like just slide right up flat underneath the radio. So it's like very, very thin addition to the bottom of the radio, and it's aluminum, and it doesn't weigh a damn thing. And I would recommend those.
Roll cage that guy's
Yeah.
making for the 705. Okay,
that's what the POV case is. But the Z mount is something that will that you can set the radio on, and it's instead of a tripod, because the tripod, you get the three little legs and all that. The Z mount is literally, it's a Z, and so you have a flat part that screws in where underneath the radio, and then a little back angle on the Z, and then another flat part, and it sits up really nicely on that Z mount. And those are made for cameras. I mean, just like the tripods are. And for the 705, that works really well for me. But without that, no, I would put something on there, carry something, and I would recommend the Z mount, but put something on it so it doesn't rock over.
I use a little cheap $15 Manfrotto tripod. It weighs almost nothing. Has a ball head on it.
The Z mount doesn't weigh anything either.
I mean, it's just two things to accomplish the same thing, right?
But yours is these little.
Mine's wrong, right?
No, I just
wow.
I just am suggesting that the other one folds right up under the radio. You never really have to take it off.
So I don't take mine up a mountain, right? I have a POV cage on it. It becomes rather heavy when you do that. I have the half cage. I have a quick mount camera tripod, like the Manfrotto quick mounts on the bottom, because I move my 705 from shack to car to portable, and I take tripods. And in the car, I have a seat bolt mount, so I can have HF mobile. I use the 705 HF mobile, so that's what's convenient for me. But if that Z mount works for you, then that's great.
And the only thing I'm saying, Alec, and yes, the tripods work. I had one too, and they work fine. I'm just thinking, if somebody's trying to put it in a backpack, that Z mount will just fold right up under the radio, and that's my only point.
Okay.
That's not any wider than the radio, though, is it? I mean,
Nope.
wouldn't it still fall over worse?
No, it doesn't. It stands up. If that would fall over like that, then cameras would fall over on them.
Hey, can you link it in live stream, Don? Just show us what you've got.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. Give me a couple of minutes, sure.
Yeah, Rob's picture is exactly how I have mine, exactly with the quick dismount and everything. In fact, I think Rob might have given me the idea for the Manfrotto mount, and he might have got the quick detach from me.
Well, the Z mount, or the Z thing that I'm talking about, I got from MLS.
Yeah, somebody's.
Oh, I see. Eric linked it. I see.
Somebody's linked it. Yeah.
The main reason I went for the Manfrotto really is often I'm sitting in a field with it, and it's nice to have it stood up on that, and then you can tilt it over and you can swivel it around through 360, and it's convenient that way. It's all swings and roundabouts.
Alec, did you say that the roll cage was like heavy, or is it not that heavy?
I responded to you in chat. It's not as heavy as the radio. It's aluminum. So the POV, they have a full cage mount it probably doubles the weight of the radio. It's pretty heavy. The half cage it's still aluminum. It's not super heavy, but it is extra weight. I mean, it has a nice handle though, so you can carry the radio around.
What
about 3D printing or anything?
Falls, it's not going to like shatter the screen or anything, right?
That's correct. Yeah, it protects the VFO knob and everything.
Right.
Now, Evan has just 3D printed the mount for his. I don't know if you've ever seen his videos or pictures, and it just sits right, like kind of at an angle back where it won't turn over. That's an option too.
Is there any verse on that?
The one Eric linked is the one that I have, the Z mount. And like I said, where I first saw a Z mount on one was from MLNS. They had, I believe they sell them in the UK. But I mean, you can get them on Amazon. They're not expensive.
Yeah, I'm a proponent of that ball head though, because I can go at any angle. That's one of the major reasons I like that.
It's a different thing because the Z mount will only let you lean it back and forward.
Right.
It's not really like you can roll it any direction. But I had trouble with mine falling over, but that was because I don't think I had a good tripod.
All right. Well, I don't know what to say other than I tune up the radio and I don't really care where it's pointing as long as it's still pointing there. I don't stare at the radio when I'm trying to make contacts. I'm generally trying to make contacts, I guess. But I don't know. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up here on my end. You guys hang out. I'm going to go join the kids and the wife. It is Ben's birthday this weekend, somewhere around this weekend. So we're doing a bit of a party thing tomorrow, and we already did one at my dad's. So he got a bike today. That's his gift from me. Is a full size, a big boy bike, I guess is the comment. But anyway, all right.
10 speed.
Well, it's one of those hand twisty ones, so I think it's only like 6 speed or something like that. But for him, that's probably good enough for now.
No, those are good too. Sounds nice.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, guys, have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and look forward to a Baofeng test video on Monday. So, all right,
sounds good.
Thanks, Josh.
Everybody. We'll see ya.
Take it easy.
All right, so everybody on the YouTube side and the Twitch side, thanks for watching. Appreciate y'all, really do, and glad you spent the time with us. Long evening, as always, but the goal is always to help people in ham radio and get them going, and I think we did that today. So I will I'll play the memes, play the song. And remember, the song has nothing to do with people getting started in ham radio. It's just some of the bad actors out there, which we have a little bit of fun with. So enjoy it. Take it easy. See ya. Take it easy, everybody.